Hey everybody. Hello fellow survivors of cyber torture. Hello YouTube. I hope everybody's doing okay today. It's midnight. It's like 12:15 a.m. in Baton Rouge, October 9th, 2020. And I hope everybody's doing okay. I had a couple of things I wanted to talk about tonight. I'll wait for a couple people to get in the chat. If you are in chat, welcome. Yeah, let me wait a second. Maybe I'll play one of these songs that I kind of picked out. Okay, there's some people in chat. So welcome to the live stream. I know it's kind of late. So right now where I live, it's like the streets are flooded. Like Hurricane Delta is supposed to make landfall Friday, I think at like 6 p.m. But the streets are already flooded, and if I try and walk out my parking lot, the water is like up to my ankles. So it's already severely flooded in Baton Rouge. So I'm trying to kind of get ready for the hurricane, and everybody power is definitely going to go out. They're like, yeah, your power is going to go out. So my dad gave me a flashlight, but I think I've still got to go, steal some candles from my mom. Hey, Slack. Slack says, be safe, my dude. I'm going to try, like, I'm on the bottom floor of my condo, so I don't think it'll be too dangerous, right? It's like I'm on the first floor of a really tall building, so I think I should be okay. I don't know. I'm going to take some extra precautions. Thank you, Regina, and welcome. Thank you so much. I got some stuff to talk about, like about the UN stuff. The UN has a YouTube channel, and then I wanted to read something that the PAX News. I can't find what it talks about, but yeah, like I mean, I'm not going to be able to get out at all this weekend, and everybody's saying the power is going to go out. So I was like, well, I better do a live stream today, just in case my power goes out all weekend long, And I'm pretty sure that the UN report about cyber torture has not been read yet. I need to talk to some people who actually have talked to Liliana and Magnus Olson and get more specifics. I wish I would have done that before, but I wanted to show y'all something real quick. Let me show y'all. A lot of you guys may already know about this, and just welcome to anybody coming in chat. I know it's late. We're gonna hang out and go through a couple of things. I'm drenched. I'm soaked. Like I had to go to the Walmart to get some water and tea, and I was like wearing my sweater and this hat and everything. And my hat was just, water wasn't just dripping down; it was like pouring off the hat. And before I went to the Walmart, I was like, man, I'm gonna get my camera out because it's gonna be crazy at Walmart, right? This is like the day before Hurricane Delta makes landfall, like, and it's coming. I mean, the eye of the storm. It's like Baton Rouge right here. Eye of the storm is going to be like right by it, so it's not good. Surprisingly, the Walmart was really empty. Like, I mean, the parking lot was empty. Not many people in there. Not many people wearing masks. Like everybody around in my city and my family, none of my family had masks when we hung out. I think this weekend. So like unless the mainstream media comes back in and says the second wave is in and makes new mandates, it seems like everybody's kind of just dropping the masks a little bit. I guess that's not true. It's the way I'm experiencing it. I know that there are some people that are just like still wearing masks everywhere. I kind of see them, but it's kind of going the other way a little bit, the way that I'm seeing it. I might be wrong on the whole. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, let me pull this up though. So how are you guys doing? How are you guys getting through this? Are y'all using stuff to kind of defend, getting some relief? I do, like, I have to admit, I get relief with the grounding, lead cap, headgear, Dave Case CD on, and then mixed, because Dave Case CD plays on my computer, mixed with positive affirmations. So you got that. So let me just say that real quick at the beginning of this, because I think sometimes we use one thing and we're like, oh, that thing's not working because the targeting's so powerful, right? So what I've done is I'm like, okay, well, this lead cap, some of the more powerful fields and streams of energy, and then Dave Case CD can do its job because I'm not getting so much of the powerful frequencies going straight to the brain, right? So you're kind of doing like a little combo. You're stringing things in a line, and then it's like that's cutting off a little bit of this, and then when it gets to this point, it's a little bit weaker, right? The directed energy they're shooting in, and then you use like Dave Case CD or something like that to kind of mop up the weaker frequencies that get through, right? Or I guess I should say the stronger frequencies that did get through whatever defense you're doing. So I think it's a good idea. Hey, Tanya. Tanya says, hi, Kyle. Hi, everyone. Let me show you. And hey, Swag Astronomer. Swag Astronomer says, when is Niels Melzer going to talk about target emitters? That's a good segue. Let me put that up on the screen. And I'm sure everybody's wondering. I need to find what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you guys this. And I'm watching everything on it. And we all need to be watching everything that happens on here. But let me show you something. Let me show you the YouTube channel first. Let me show you the YouTube channel first, because I'm sure that is a concrete place where the reports are going to be read, and we all need to be watching it. But then there's another place that the UN might put its information, which I cannot find, and I need help. I need help finding it. And I'm going to get my tablet out so I can read y'all's chats. Okay, so this is the United Nations YouTube channel. I'm sure a lot of you guys have already been looking at it, but just for those of you who didn't know about it, right? And then we see all these videos. Look at this one. Check this one out, guys. Digital pandemic surveillance and the right to privacy. Digital pandemic surveillance and the right to privacy. However, I see some of these, and I think that was on the actual agenda. So we see the United Nations YouTube channel. I thought well, it could still be. Tomorrow is Friday. Then you got Saturday. I don't know if they do meeting. I'm sure they do meetings on Sundays. I thought it was going to be this week, but I'm going to have to check more, and also this, guys, also this. So they have videos of what they're talking about. They've been talking about biodiversity, women, peace, and security, universal health coverage, things like that. I forgot what I was going to say. But they put those up. But see, you have a United Nations 24-hour stream right here, where you can just see what kind of meetings they're in. Okay, it's closed right now. Oh, so they have closed meetings. So the UN actually has closed meetings that they do not show live. That's good to know. Right when I do my live stream, I show you all the UN live, and it's a meeting that's closed. That is awesome. That is the story of my life right there. But y'all see what I'm saying? So we go to this United Nations YouTube channel, and it seems like everything that's going on in the General Assembly, they're putting up. They either have it live, they'll have it live, and then they'll put videos up. The only thing I kind of do worry about is if the reports are live, and then maybe they don't make an individual video about that. So we'll have to. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. Give me a second to open my tablet and get on my channel so I can see you guys in chat. And then I wanted to read y'all something else. So everybody, I just want to make sure everybody knows about the United Nations YouTube channel. I'm going to go back here. I just want to go to the go back to the United Nations YouTube channel, and then on the videos, because I want to see, we've got the schedule of reports. We've got the schedule of reports, but it's the United Nations 24 hours live. we've got the schedule of reports, and then we can kind of tie them into the videos that have already come out. Mental health and other topics. COVID-19, mental health, and other topics. Okay, so let's look at that video. COVID-19, mental health, and other topics. Let me stop my share screen real quick. Remember that one, guys. COVID-19, mental health. Because what we're going to do is we're going to go to this list of reports. Let me pull up my share screen real quick. I got to make sure I come back in here because my attackers, like when I'm looking at another screen, they'll just cut off my live stream. Hey, RND in browser. RND in browser says, hi, Kyle. I find grounding very helpful. How you do grounding? That's how I do grounding. That's how I do grounding. Because I have a vagus nerve stimulation. So I ground my left leg. I go to the ground and I ground my left leg. And it actually grounds out some of the vagus nerve stimulation they're doing to me. But some other people, let me think, other TIs, you know, will put the straps on their arm or they'll get a grounding blanket. I used to sit on a grounding blanket, but this is what would 3 straps on that left leg, because with my targeting, a lot of stuff is focused on the left side. Like I hear some TIs and they're like, yeah, man, like all my targeting, it's like I get a lot of pain on the left side. I get more ringing in the left side. You know, more of it's focused on the left side, but then some target individuals are like, mine seems to be focused more on the right, right? It just depends on what they're doing to you, what kind of protocol you're in. But mine, like with the vagus nerve stuff, you know, I get targeted everywhere. I get ringing in both ears and headaches on both sides, streams of energy to both sides. But it focuses, like the pain focuses on like the left side of my face and cheek and jaw, and then all the way down. So I put that grounding there. Like if I forget to put my grounding on when I sleep, I'll wake up and the whole inside of my body will feel like maybe 50% worse. It'll feel like 50% worse. Hey, Alan, and everybody check out Alan's channel, Alan Nielsen Brewer. Alan says, hi, Kyle. Hi, TIs. Hey, great to have a Volcane TI chat. Hey, you guys chat it up. I want to just show y'all everything that I know about where we can get the information about for the UN. I don't know how great it's going to be. I don't know if they're going to like, I mean, they have to at least record it on paper, right? But I'm pretty sure they're going to record it for the YouTube channel or, you know, whatever else. Exactly what he's going to say, I don't know, but it is happening. Yeah, Elizabeth LeBou says, please don't get your hopes too high. I love you guys and just don't want you to get terribly let down. Remember, all is politics and they are really involved in so many levels. God bless you all. Yeah. Yeah, let's not depend, like, be like, okay, if this doesn't happen, the UN thing isn't great, then, oh, then nothing else is going to work. But we just got to follow Richard Grannon, and he said he got the weirdest advice, and it's almost like, and I need to just, I wonder if I can just repost it, because it's really what I think about hope. He says, abandon hope. Abandon hope. Hope's out. Like, if it's hope without action and you're sitting there and you're like, things are just going to turn out, things somehow out. But the best way to do things is actionable optimism. So we don't know how things are going to turn out, but we got to hope for the best. We got to do actionable optimism. And we know right now the world's completely evil. People are getting screwed over. We're being murdered in our homes. So it's not like everything's just coming up roses, right? We're being conditioned to be like, oh, everything's going to go bad. But yeah, don't get your hopes up in a way where they can be crushed, but do keep your hope alive, because good things will come along if we do work. If we, you know, even if we can't end this program, we find more defenses. That's a logical, you know, I've found stuff that works, that's de-intensified this stuff, that's given me a little bit of maintainable, like, where I don't feel like I'm going to die every day. So it's logically, it's already happened. You know, I've experienced it. The logic is better things are going to come out. So, you know, we go through that spiel every time. Oh yeah, Elizabeth says even my property gets destroyed daily. Yeah, I've got people coming into my place. Elizabeth says mine will never be stopped because of the severity and who was involved. My ex put me in, and he is an elected official. That doesn't mean it can't be stopped. You know, doesn't mean it can't be stopped, because if they shut down, like if they shut down all of these programs, then it's not like your ex could just be like, okay, well, let's just keep doing this extremely. Now then it would be extremely illegal if everybody knew. It's extremely illegal now, but it would be a whole lot. I don't think they could just keep it going privately. You know, I think you could sue the buns off of them. We'll see though. We'll see though, guys. Let me show you this. I kind of do think though that we should keep hope alive. I just don't think it's good living like well, things that I mean, how do you live like I mean, I guess when people say I don't think things are going to get better, they mean like they don't think the program's going to end, that the torture's going to end. But I see so many other angles besides just the program ending, where we could actually, you know, get health, be able to live more of our lives, things would get better, right? And then the ultimate goal, which I don't know, is I want the programs to end, right? But I'm not sure. I don't know the future. I'm just trying to, you know, put out as much information as I can. You know, if it's like I'm one person on a YouTube channel, right? And y'all are in chat and it's just like, yeah, I'm going to stop these programs. That doesn't work, right? But if we all put in information from our corner, it does make a difference. Like, in experiencing that difference through the years, kind of, it's not like something that I could be like, oh, well, maybe you guys are right. You know, it can't really get any better, because I've seen it get better. I've experienced it getting better. But the torture does go on. So I see where people are coming from. The torture is the main thing to stop. And it's like, we're like, oh, well, things have gotten better since 2011 when my overt targeting started, but things have gotten better, more awareness out there. But hey, the torture's still going on. And it's like, and with the torture, it's like some things are worse. Some things are a little bit better. Like, I still get external hits, but that's not as intense. But the remote neural manipulation gotten worse because, you know, at first it was clunky, ham-fisted. Oh, I know they're putting an inner voice thought or something in my head, but they go for so many years and they're getting in tune with your brain that they start doing this more and more, where it's not just putting a signal to your brain that's the thought, it's actually evoking your brain to make that signal, right? It's like pumping a signal to your brain where your brain creates the thought. So it feels more like your own thought, if I describe that right. So let me show you guys this. Okay, so we're going to go to that that chart that I put out, reports to the General Assembly, 75th session. Now, what was that? Can I just go back to this page? If I'm sharing my screen, can I just go to all of them? I never know if it'll. So we had COVID-19, mental health, and other topics. What page is on? Okay. So we see this first item 27, the intersection between the COVID-19 pandemic and the pandemic of gender-based violence against women. I didn't see a video like that. I did see something about women's rights. I was going to try and see if any of these, we could see if they already did the video, so we'd know it was like coming up, you know. But I'm going to have to do some more searching. One that I thought it was going to be under, right? This A/75/179 72A. interim report of the special rapporteur, so that's Nils Melzer right there, on torture and other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment, a note by the Secretary General. I don't know the date of that, though. It doesn't give a date. Would any of these things? Maybe it'll give the date on this. I can't believe I never opened that up. Okay, let me get to my chat room. Torture. Okay, note. What's the note here? So this is from the 20th of July. So it has the whole thing. Let's look at this. I can't believe we might be just looking at this, guys. If I see cyber torture in it. System justification. You remember what we were sending in those things for, right? You know, we were sending in, you know, I sent in a testimony, but we were supposed to send in like the problems with society and why torture keeps going on. It seems like this report is from that call for submissions, for the call for submissions that we sent in, and who maybe, you know, their jobs have to do with helping people who have been tortured and stuff, the ones that they sent in. Okay. Okay, I found it. Okay, that's awesome. Someone sent me the UN TV thing. Okay, great. Great. Okay, so we got the United Nations YouTube page. Then I'm about to give y'all another one where, and I'll show you all that first. But let me go through this. I've never gone through this. I can't believe I didn't click on those. Predominant patterns of moral disengagement, denial of fact, denial of responsibility. These are just general perpetrators, instigators, and other active participants. That seems like a lot of what would go into our gang stalking. But if it's all just generalized and he doesn't say cyber torture, it's no good. Displacement, upward displacement, downward displacement, displacement. Utilitarian justification. I mean, that's the whole thing about our torture, because you know, our brains are being mapped. They're scaling up the weapons, just what the military-industrial complex does. And it's just trying to say, oh, we just have to we have to sacrifice these people and torture them, and maybe try and make them commit suicide and stuff. You know, for utilitarian reasons. Security, self-defense, and self-preservation. Freedom, independence. Well, you know what? I hope then I hope this isn't the one, because it doesn't have cyber torture in it. It doesn't have the word cyber torture in it. Where'd that go? Hold on one second, guys. I want to keep going down. Revenge, retribution, and self-justification. See, this is all a lot of general stuff about what would be happening in our targeting, but we need less general stuff. Is he gonna? Little arrow bar won't go down. Hold on one second, guys. All right, let me open up my chat. One second. But let's look through this one, and then I'll show you guys the link to the UN TV. So we'll have the UN TV link, and I'm sure a lot of guys already have this, but just so everybody has it, we can all be looking for it. Give me one second, y'all. I'm not doing too great. I'm really tired, but you know, Leadcap, Dave KCD with the like 2 affirmations time with Dave KCD, it does break off some of the stuff they're doing to my nervous system. It's like it's interfering with that biorelevant feedback loop from the inner ear to the brain, where they're doing this really painful remote neural manipulation at night. But keep in mind that I use it with the grounding and all stuff too. It's still pretty bad. Torture's still pretty bad, even if you get defense for it. It's just the defenses are worth it. So let's see. And I'm going to put, okay, so, okay, here we go. I want to pause. Hey, Craig. Craig says, hi, Tanya, but why? Why do they want to stay? Well, what this is, I mean, this is a lot of human experimentation. So they're picking people out in society who are maybe outspoken or non-compliant, or somebody wants to get vengeance on them that has connections to this program. And then they're making a lot of money off of this torture. So like I have human operators with automated systems and AI. They're doing all this weird stuff to my brain, learning more about the brain. The AI learns more about the human brain, right? And all this goes into and is saved in data banks, what it's learning from our brains and reactions, right? And that's only like one angle of it. Then you got consumer and medical products, right? You've got all these different angles of why they're doing this experimentation, to make better weapons, to try and control more people. Because you got to think about it like this, and Robert Duncan says it, other people say, this technology is being scaled up, will be scaled up, right? So that I don't know how many years from now, but everybody will be able to turn on their computer with they'll be hooked up, their brain will be hooked up to an Internet of Things. And when you think something, it will do something with your electronics or whatever. And then they're probably even going towards like where people will even just be able to think to each other to communicate, how much they're going to reveal to the public and how much they're going to keep their power, I don't know, but the more that it comes out in the public, the less that it's, that things like this are going to be able to be done with it. Hey, what's up, Jared? Jared says, sup, Kyle, long time no see. How are you? I'm hanging in there. I'm feeling spiritually good today. Hurricane is like going to come straight on top of me. The eye of the storm is going to basically be on my city. But I'm getting ready for it. We're going through the storm, guys. We're going through the eye of the storm. I tried to find a good hurricane song, but then I was like, well, I'm going to get copyright strike. So this is this report written out, and I can't, you see, guys, I can't, why does it do that? Can I just, 20 out of 25, I just want to see, I really just want to see if, can we just keep going down here? Can we keep, I want to see if cyber torture is in the title of this. I guess I just keep doing that. Oh, it went back up. Out-group dehumanization, denigration, and indifference. One unconscious psychological mechanism of discriminatory infliction of harm is reduced empathy, such that the empathy related. See, this is bad. This is bad because it sounds like a lot of general stuff about torture where I don't want to think that. They're going to talk about cyber torture. It's obvious. They're going to talk about cyber torture. Hey, Michael. Michael says, hi, Kyle. Nice to be here. Worried. Glad to see you are okay. Did you watch Jimmy Dore where Bill Binney is suing the government for us? No, I did not. So apparently we need to check out Jimmy Dore, his YouTube channel, and look for that Bill Binney suing the government for us. I get really tired, and I was, I said it on my last video, until we see what comes out of this UN thing, right? Because it's like all I care about. It's like, I can talk about the other stuff, but this is like the biggest thing for us. If it's 10% of what I want, it can open up huge doors for us. And so think about it this way, and this is especially for you guys who are like, man, the UN's not going to do nothing. The UN is corrupt. But if the UN has a report, it talks about cyber torture in there, and then it talks about like AI, neurotechnologies, things like that. Think about that. If targeted individuals talk about that within the truth community, and we even just the truth community, our families or some doctors are affected by this, it spreads, right? The truth spreads. So there's a lot of different ways that I'm hoping that this is not the report, because it's a lot of generalized talking about things that we go through in our targeting without talking about the technology. And I don't think it would give people an idea of how it's all going down. Moral dilemmas arising from intergroup violence to be suppressed based on narratives of discriminatory justification, which encourage moral disengagement at the tribal level of social groupings. In essence, discriminatory justification minimizes, legitimizes, or excuses abuse. See, that's they're talking about targeting. They're talking about people who use these weapons, and they're talking about people who gang stalk in that paragraph. But it's like without talking about cyber torture. I didn't even think of this crappy possibility. This may not be it. This may not be it. This may not be the report. And I really cannot go to. I don't know how I get the page to open up so I can go. Sucks. Can I go this way? Where's the little down arrow? Shoot. Let's do this. Let's do this. And then, oh, it's still not going to give it to me. Still going to be way down there. Frick. Hold on 1 second, y'all. That is really cruddy. I can't go below that. Okay. Okay, well, that's a bunch of general stuff on there. I want to go back. But I'm going to put this in the description again. And I guess it doesn't have the date that it's going to be read. That's not it. But then if that's not it, I don't know the other one. If that's not it, then I haven't seen another one where I would definitely say cyber torture is going to be in there. Cultural rights. Okay, so but anyway, so I'm going to put this in the description. You guys saw that United Nations YouTube channel, so we all need to be watching that really closely. Now, let me read this from the PAX newsletter. This is from the end of September. So Liliana has informed me that she has recently spoken to the United Nations official. And can you guys see this? Let me check it on my thing, because I'm going to switch over. Y'all cannot see that. When I switch over, you guys can't see it, huh? Okay, so I'm going to have to go back out. I wonder how many times that happens, and I'm showing something that, like, that I'm talking about something else. Here, let me go to this and read you guys this thing, because I think Liliana, Magnus, they would be the ones to have the most information. Okay, so you guys can see this. Let me check on my video. Yeah, okay, it's on there now. Hey, James. Okay, so so James says no one knows yet, I think. James says I've heard October 15th, but it was just hearsay. Yeah, I heard like the 3rd, and then I heard like the 5th. Generation says, Kyle, is there a date for the UNC? I don't know. No, I do not have a date. And it's like, no, it's like, I guess the schedule, it's just like they kind of put some things in. They have things scheduled for the day, but it's not, you know, it's not set in stone. My thinking is that maybe he does have a report specifically about cyber torture, and this is hopeful thinking, but, you know, it could happen. But it wasn't put on the main list, right? There are still some reports that are going to kind of just be put in on that initial list. Some things, some last minute additions and things like that. So I don't think we need to start worrying. You know, but who knows? Who knows? We could get screwed on this. We've been screwed our whole lives while being targeted. We're just gonna have to roll with the punches, and we're gonna have to hope. Tanya says, thank you. Being tortured, microwave weapons, the cyber torture so bad, Samia. I will say a prayer for all TIs around the world. Yeah, we need to be praying for each other. And hey, Samia, is there anybody I didn't say hi to? Said hi to Craig. Hey, Steven. Steven says, I only recently just found your channel through a Brian 2 YouTube channel. I noticed he was subscribed to you. I left you a comment on like your third video before this one. Okay, Steven, I'm really bad about getting back to comments. I'll usually look at them all, but I've been doing it for so many years that it's just like I have such a hard time going through and responding to everyone. I try sometimes. Samia, no, I'll go in after this and look for your email and respond right after my live stream. I'll do that. Samia says, I look to the hills which cometh my help. My help comes from the Lord. Amen. 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 I still believe in miracles in this. I think we just got to work as hard as possible, though. We need to get as many eyes on the United Nations YouTube channel, and then I'm going to show you all this. Somebody awesome, just me, the UN TV. So, okay, let me finish I didn't even finish reading this. Hey, Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty says, hi, Kyle and everyone else. Big hugs. Big hugs. So, okay, Liliana. So this is from the PAX newsletter from when? Friday, September 4th. Was it from September 4th? I guess it was. Okay, so this is the beginning of September, but the information's still good. So, okay, Liliana has informed me that she has recently spoken to you, who informed her that all UN speakers will present via teleconference this year, including Mr. Niels Melzer. Some had inquired about attending his UN speech. However, due to the coronavirus, all speeches will be delivered remotely. Those that would like to see Mr. Melzer's speech as he delivers it will be able to do so live via UN TV. The exact date of his speech is yet to be announced. Okay, so I'm going to leave that up on the screen, and I got to get this. It's not just UN TV, because I was looking for it earlier and I couldn't find it. Somebody sent me the it's webtv.un.org. I'm about to put it up. I'm gonna put it in the chat real quick. Hold on 1 second. My hearing aid's going out. They got so wet tonight. Like, oh, is it really going out? I'm gonna have to put a new battery in it. Really? Okay. I have to put a new battery in this. But let me type this in chat real quick. So it is webtv.un.org. Oh, that didn't go in right. Why can't I just type what I... look at that. I love spell correct. Web is changed to went. So web TV, I want to just keep that web TV. .un.org. Okay, there we go. So that, and we're going to go there right now. So we got that in the United Nations YouTube page for anybody who didn't know the United Nations YouTube page. And we all need to be kind of scouring it. We need a lot of TI eyeballs on that. Let me replace this real quick. Let's go to that. Let's go to that that web TV site and check it out. So that's where Liliana says it's going to be. I guess she didn't know the date of it, but I guess maybe we should look at both the YouTube page and that. Okay, what is it? Web TV. And I'll put it in the description too. webtv.un. Oh, that's supposed to be UN. That's supposed to be UN, not IN, not IN, but UN. I'll pull it up and put it in the description. My spelling correction thing on my tab is so bad. Like, it's so bad that I can't, like, it's correcting every 2 letters that I put in there. Changing everything that I want to type to another word. .org. Let's take a look through it and see if we can, see if it's already there. I don't think that he has made the report yet, though. Pretty sure. And that report that I was looking at, where I thought it'd be, it's a lot of general stuff, but it sounds like general stuff that came from those submissions, like about the proliferation of torture. Why does torture proliferate? What's wrong with our social structures and society? Which everything, right? Everything is wrong with our system. And so since he's going to be giving his report remotely, it'll probably be on here. Meetings. Should we go to let's go to the meetings and events. Okay, let's go to this right here. But I'm going to put this in the description too. So we got the United Nations YouTube, and then we got the United Nations Web TV. What we got here? Oh, am I sharing? I'm not sharing the screen. I'm scatterbrained right now, guys. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Very scatterbrained right now. So here is webtv.un.org. Let's go back to the main page because I went to, so they're live now. It's the one in New York, right? The UN building in New York. I mean, that's where, it's a closed meeting. Closed meeting. And then virtual informal. How do we look for the reports? Would it just be General Assembly? I guess it would just be General Assembly. Yeah, webtv.un, not IN. Sorry about that, y'all. Just Aaron, are you talking to me? Did you email me a while back? I'm gonna have to go in and check. I've been really bad about keeping up with my emails, guys. I'll go in after this. So let me write that down. Let me write it down. Just Aaron and Samia. I'm trying to get better about that, but I'm so swamped in my own, just trying to survive and stuff like that, that I'm like, I'm just going to put information out and people will understand if I can't get back to them. I had the pin, my pin was right there for this whole week, and now it's gone. My pin was right here. Stupid pin. This isn't the one. Okay, so let me get this. Email. Samuel. It's the only way I'm going to remember if I write it down. So I'll just forget immediately. My attackers will just wipe immediately. Yeah, resend it if you can. Sammy, you probably should have sent yours pretty recently, so I'll just look for that. But just Aaron, please send it again. Just send whatever you sent me a while back, and I promise I'll answer. Trying to get with it. So here we go. So we have some things in the General Assembly that have already happened. Looks like they're just general meetings, though. There's general meetings. It doesn't have titles for them. And I think what I'm going to do, guys, I haven't talked to Ella in a while. I'm probably going to call Ella since she talks to Liliana, and I'm going to see if she has any specifics. But it seems like if we had specifics on when it was, that would be spreading around. Everybody would be talking about that. Okay, Stephen. Which one? One you put up there? Oh, yeah. Stephen says there's that lawyer, Ray Schumann, that is a game, but I don't know if he's credible or just scamming for money. Now, I think what he's trying to do, he's trying to build a case against some like concrete evidence for gang stalking, like the gang stalking part of it, like when you're harassed outside, vehicle stalking, street theater, around your place, noise campaigns and things like that. But I don't think he's going into trying to make a court case for the directed energy web attacks or, you know, the remote neural manipulation or remote neural monitoring yet. So I don't know, you know, I've listened to him. I think he's a real smart guy. It's just hard to get anything off the ground. Kind of like if you're a targeted individual and trying to make something big happen, it's really hard to get it going because grab on to who do we go to? What if we, put in an affidavit to a court? Does it just disappear? Do they just ignore it? Like, oh, this is just crazy talk, you know? So things hit walls. I'm gonna find this. I'm gonna be scouring this and see what he says. See what Niels Melzer says. Cool, just Aaron. Yeah. So okay, so we got the webtv.un.org, and thank you to the person who sent me that. Topics and issues. So we got COVID-19. That was it. Oh, it's 13th of May. Oh, wow. That's no good. Okay, but I'm going to put that in the description. So we all just kind of need to be watching it. You know, we all just need, I wish that had a date on it. Let me go back real quick. I'm going to look at that. 75th session. So it has these reports on it. So I guess I'm going to have to go through some of these. Like I'll show y'all what I'm looking at. This same page with all the different reports being read. It has the report attached to it, but something's wrong with the screen opening and I can't go down all the way. But maybe what I can do, because I didn't know these letters on the right side were just pulling up the, it pulls up the report. I can't believe I didn't know that. So I need to go through the ones where I think that maybe it might be about us. But you know what I'm thinking is they probably don't have every report that's going to be read on here. Like, honestly, I'm not trying to be like, oh, well, they probably just don't know, and it's just gonna. I'm just saying logically, probably not every report's on here. This one look at this one, A75 337, report of the Special Rapporteur on the promotion and protection of human rights and fundamental freedoms while countering terrorism. They call us terrorists. You know, we're on a terrorist watch list and stuff like that so that they can experiment on us. But it doesn't have the report. All these other ones do. It doesn't actually have it there. See, and they've been talking. Report of the Committee on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women. They have a video of that on YouTube. So it looks like some of these do correspond. Report of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights. I'm going to have to look at it a little bit more, guys, but I want it to get the main thing. Just the main thing is I want it to, you know, make sure everybody has that United Nations YouTube page, so we can be looking there, and that everybody has this the web TV thing. And thank you to the targeted individual that sent me that. Let's see what else I had. I kind of wanted to talk about Hurricane Delta, because it's coming like right. It's going to be right over my house probably. The eye of the storm is going to be here, like over my house, and maybe it'll just suck me up into it, and somehow I can just bypass, go straight into heaven if that hurricane just sucks me right up. Dude, like right now my hat, like it looks like it's dry, but it is just soaked through. I had water, like I was going into the Walmart, and then I came back, I had to bring my groceries in, and water wasn't just like going bink, bink, it was going. And I was like standing in water. And on the way home, I was driving my car, and like I came upon, like I didn't even know there was a car pulled over to the side. And I was like, oh, there must be something wrong with that car. And all of a sudden I went, like, and my car was underwater. Like it was like the water was touching the stuff of the car. So I was like, oh, my engine's going to go out. This is going to be bad. Yeah, Lynn. Hey, Lynn. Lynn says, get food and water. Be ready just in case. Yeah, that's why I was going to Walmart. I got like a bunch of water, a bunch of tea, some dog food for Pepper. I didn't get candles, so I'm gonna steal candles from my mom. Really? Okay, so Nadia says Dave Case had a good interview on Romola recently. Like really recently? Like in the last couple of weeks? Because I haven't heard from him in a while. I am going to listen to that. I love that man. That man saved my life. That man saved my brain. The frustrating thing to me, though, about Dave CD is like it works so well for me. It's still annoying. My attackers have made me less motivated to listen to it. But the frustrating thing is a lot of targeted individuals. It's like it's either too annoying and too grating for them, or it just doesn't work right. But I have to tell you, it's like I have to use it all the time for it to work. If I stop using it a week later, my targeting is going to go back to like 5 times worse, 10 times worse. Probably 10. It probably will feel like 10 times worse, but in actuality, it'll be 5 times worse. The calm before the storm. Just Aaron says the name has to do with QAnon. The calm before the storm. This is the big one. The eye of the storm. I hope it just sucks me right up into it, and I can just go out into space at least. I don't know. It seems like everybody's really, really sure that we're going to lose power. So I'm kind of getting ready for that. I didn't have a bunch of stuff to talk about. I'm just like scouring things to see when Niels Melzer is going to give this report. I have a couple of things I guess we could go through. What's it? It's 1 right now. Oh, okay. Steven says, no, I meant the comment I left you on your video like 3 vids ago. That's if you remember or get a chance. It's got some interesting info. Okay, yeah. Cool, Steven. Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll check it out. And you guys email me and leave comments. I'll try more. I'm really trying to you know, I'll you know, respond to as much as I can. I'll respond to as much as I can. I don't mean to ignore you guys, but it's like I'm working on like how am I gonna get through this, blah blah, and then like, okay, with making some plans, talking to my mom. Check this out. Check this out, guys. So I went to have dinner with my family, and I don't want to get too off track. And it was, what day was it? It was like Saturday, I think. Saturday or Sunday. Must have been Saturday. Must have been Saturday. Maybe it was Friday night. I don't know, Friday or Saturday maybe. And like none of my family had their masks. None of them had their masks even just with them. And like that's weird, right? Like everybody around here is just kind of done with it, you know, because the numbers are way off. They're counting motorcycle accidents and stuff like that. But that's not the point of it. But we hung out, right? And like I was kind of talking to my mom about stuff, and my mom, you know, she can get on she can't get on my YouTube channel and make videos, but she knows she can get to my YouTube channel to watch it. And like I was about to walk out the door, and I was like, yeah, I'm really trying. Like so many people are, you know, it's every day. It's like, you know, we can't bear this. Like I want to die and stuff. Like it's like everybody's dying, everybody's being tortured. It's really hard. And like I'm trying to help, but I'm drowning too. Blah blah. We're just talking about everything in the UN stuff. And like before I went to leave, my mom goes, "You get out there and you help people." Like, I mean, like, it was like something like, because in the beginning, she didn't believe that this was happening. And then the UN thing, everything that I've showed her, right? And she kind of had a double-minded. She knew I'm not crazy. But she said at the, like, right before I left, she was like, you get out there and you help people. And it was just like, wow. And it amped me up. It put some wind beneath my wings to have at least one person in my family who was like, yeah, you know, get it going. I know this is true. I know this is real, and I hope that you guys can get the UN stuff and make this better. Hey, Karen says, I'm on the West Coast and not afraid. No fear. Fear is the mind killer. Karen Rose says, he says, fear not, for I am with you. Never forget. Karen Rose says, this time is over soon. Hi, Tanya. Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. I'm going to go ahead and put that. Celine 007 said, this existence is so exhausting. Things are like so exhausting if you're not targeted. Like even when my targeting is like not so hard, I have these little patches, right, where it's not so horrible. Life is hard. Life is complicated. You got to fix your car, get your registration, have every little I dotted and T crossed, so the system doesn't come down on you and wreck your life. You know, even when you're not tortured, you got to do all these things and keep it together. Life is really hard, you know? But with it, it's just like, how do we even get to the place where then life is hard? Thank you, Nadia. Nadia says, you've helped me a lot, Kyle. Thank you. Thank you for coming to the live streams. And yeah, it's a big deal, guys. So never think, like, if you have a YouTube channel, never think that it's too small. I know this is a global program, right? So a YouTube channel is not going to just solve the problem and stop the program. But you think about it logically, right? I've made videos for this many years. Other TIs do too. Get a couple of hundred views on each video. That's empowering targeted individuals with the right information. And then where do they go from there? Maybe they go make their own videos. Maybe they have a conversation with somebody important like a doctor or their family where they needed some good empowering information, and it can really make a big difference if we're all doing it. This is a huge problem, though. You know, it's just a huge, impossible global program where it's like we got to make things better along the way. And then, you know, for things like this UN thing, it's not like I'm not trying to get up here and be like, this is going to work, right? I think we should do that. Even if it doesn't work, I think we need to be that hopeful, because I kind of do believe in action thing. How if you think things are going good, your actions are going to be different, and you may not get the exact thing that you want, right? I talk about this all the time. So I do kind of believe that even if it's like nothing good comes out of it, you really still have to have faith that something good can come out of it, because it increases that probability. Like it increases that probability in just this reality, your life, how good you feel when you're willfully positive and actively positive. It brings the probability level of optimal situations and good things happening that come up. Like if we're depressed and and we're all depressed, right, from being targeted. We can't help it sometimes. It's like artificial depression, but it's like I'm artificially depressed, right, from the targeting, artificially anxious from the targeting. But what I do, and this may be a little bit harder for women, I don't know, and this isn't an insult, but I try and think positively, logically. Like, oh man, my emotional depression is making me feel like I'm just gonna die like this, blah blah. So it's like you got to twist it. You got to see the logical positivity in your life. What do you still have left? Logically, what do you still enjoy logically? What do you see that's coming along that's good? That's maybe it's not as good as you want. It's good and it's gonna work. And that was kind of insulting. Women have logic, okay? So that was insulting. Karen says, keep your faith close to your heart. This is a test, in my opinion. I think that's great advice. Karen Rose says, this too shall pass away. Nothing lasts forever. This too shall pass. The eye of the storm shall pass. Sleeping Beauty says, William Binney mentions this stuff on a recent Jimmy Dore show. I mirrored it on my channel. Okay, I might mirror that on my channel. Somebody else let me know about that too, Sleeping Beauty. So that's a big deal. And he's suing the United States government. Does he have anything in his suit? Do you guys know if did he mention anything about targeting of citizens with directed energy or neuro weapons or anything like that? Or was it more just like the surveillance of everybody? And he kind of stopped there. Hey, thank you, Sleeping Beauty. I'll pass it on. Sleeping Beauty says, big hugs and kisses for your mom, Kyle. That makes my heart smile. And she's awesome. She's awesome. And I think if he says anything about cyber torture, if he gives us a little bit, right, it's going to happen. He's told us that. He's gotten the testimonies. We're going to get something with this General Assembly. It's just like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? But maybe after that happens, my mom will be more, she'll be like, okay, well, this is serious. Like she was dull. She's like, let's go ahead and get a lawyer. It sucks though, because she is targeted too. Like her and my dad are targeted. She doesn't know she's targeted, but she's tired. She's tired. She has to take care of my grandma, who's like very, very close to the end. And then my dad, who got targeted and they crushed his brain. I mean, he's doing good, but still, it's still a difficult situation. Hey, New Type says, if Wolverine's mom is watching, please know he has helped so many people. Once you realize the things your son is talking about are starkly real, you will be prouder of him than you already are. That's like a dream that I have, New Type, that like this all comes out. And it's like everything that I've done, my parents see it and they're like, oh, you were working that whole time. And it's just like this positive, like, it just blows out all the tragedy that happened, right? Because I think with this, it's like a lot of tragic things happen in our life, and this is easier said than done, but like we've got to leave the tragedies behind. What strengths did we get out of those tragedies? And the targeting goes on and on and on, right? But the tragedies that came from the targeting, we've got to, leave them behind. And then what's the more positive stuff will come, more positive stuff coming. But it's not. When your targeting is getting worse and worse, it doesn't feel like more and more positive stuff is coming. Oh, really? Okay. Boom. Sleeping Beauty says he mentions Jews in his interview and horrible things that are happening to Americans. Boom. On Jimmy Dore? Jimmy Dore has a huge channel. What is it? He has like millions, doesn't he? No, maybe not millions of subscribers, but he has like a couple 100,000, right? Oh, wow. Somebody was telling me about like the guy who does Invisible People, that channel. where they were in his chat room and they talked to him about it. Like a targeted individual was in the chat room where he's doing a live stream and talked to him about targeting. Many people in the chat said, yeah, I've been targeted too, and stuff like that. And then he was talking about it on his channel. So it just seems like a lot more people know about it. Let me pull this up. I'll show you guys a video that shows that it's a big topic. It's not talked about how we want it to be talked about, but this video shows that it's a very important topic. I can't remember the name of the guy, so I might have to search for a second. Yeah, Michael John says Nero weapons. It's kind of funny. It's like Nero watched the city burn. Not funny, but like, yeah. James Nielsen says, and illegal torture of civilians. Benny has been quite vocal. Both him and Kirk Wiebe talk about it and call it the targeting issue. Yeah, they came on and did an interview on Ella's channel, which that was the only video that I edited for her Ella Free channel. And after that, my attackers would not let me turn anything into a video. So she has a video on her channel that like I actually edited the pictures in it and stuff. Her interview with Kurt Wiebe and Bill Benny. And then they've done an interview with Dr. Catherine Horn. They did the survey, right? Which where's the survey, right? And I think the deal with that is they were probably just trying to get more information for something else, something else that they had planned of talking about this with somebody. I don't know, that the survey didn't seem to go anywhere to me. Celine 007, you say, has anyone successfully completed the Lookout for Charlie protocol and is no longer having symptoms? I'll tell you, for when I found out about Lookout for Charlie's thing, for a whole month, I took potassium iodide, boron, and then I did the cleansing baths. I did Epsom salt, and then I'd do boron and palm olive soap baths every day for a month. Every day, didn't miss a day. And at the end of the month, and it happened gradually, but my V2K got lower, my targeting got less intense. So if you do it every day, you do that cleanse, you'll see that the intensity of your targeting goes way, way down. I've never talked to anybody who has been like, oh, it cured it 100%, right? I don't know of anything that can cure the targeting 100%. Some people say that Dave Case CD cures their targeting 100%. For me, it doesn't. And I think it's just like maybe you've got a targeted individual who doesn't have an implant in them. Like they may have some nanoparticulates, but they don't have specifically nanotechnology in them that's bypassed the blood-brain barrier, but they have some kind of nanoparticulates. So they got the biofilm, the nanoparticulates, but no little implants or anything like that. No nanotechnology that's bypassed the blood-brain barrier. They start doing the cleansing regimen using Dave Case CD. I think they did that long enough. It could be 100%. I'm not sure though. I'm not really sure. Samia says, Kyle, there's a human rights organization that helps people. I sent you good information. Also, Kevin Christian is going to start a class action lawsuit against those who target. Okay. There is a class action suit with Targeted Justice, and I'm going to be going with Targeted Justice. I haven't gotten my stuff in, but it seems like so many people have already sent their affidavits, and the Targeted Justice one is so big that I'm going to do that one. But I don't see any harm, and I actually do see it's better if more people file class action lawsuits for targeting. So that's a good idea that Kevin's doing that. It's a really good idea. New Type says, Jason Burmis was talking about how Assange is hearing voices and that they may be using voice of God weapons. Tons of people in his chat were agreeing. New Type, how long ago did I say that? How long ago? When he got picked up, I said it. I said it so many years ago. That's good though. That's good. It sucks though. It's like, cause I hate that. I hate that. Like if you're a targeted individual and you say something and it's just like, yeah, it's true. It's like nobody listens to you. I mean, I know you guys listen to me, but nobody listens to it. Then Jason Burmis, who's not a target, says Julian Assange could be targeted, and people take it more seriously, right? You got this big problem where if you're a targeted individual, you know, everything that you say perceptually to other people, they're just like, is that insane? Because that person's insane, right? It's like even if you're saying really smart stuff, they're like, is that an insane thing? Because he thinks he's being hit with directed energy weapons. I hate it. I hate it. A TI's World. Hey, a TI's World says, hey, new to the channel and a targeted individual. Welcome, man. Can I make you guys moderators on this page? Oh, I got to go to my other page. I need some more moderators, guys. I'm gonna think I can do that on the next one. My chat's usually pretty well behaved since I don't come on here too much. I'm gonna try and be doing some more. Hey Preston, what's up, man? Yeah, ATI's World says they say we are crazy as hell. That's why I want that, you know, on paper. I carry that thing around. You can just tell people, or, you know, just carry stacks of what the UN said about it around. You tell somebody, and if you didn't have a stack of paper, like a stack of like the report where it talks about cyber torture and stuff like that, you talk to somebody about being a TI and they're like, oh, that sounds interesting. But then when you walk off, obviously they're like, that's not happening, because they want to protect themselves, right? That can't be happening. You can't be being hit with stuff, because then that could happen to me. But then if you, after you talk to them, you go, yeah, the UN declared it. The UN declared this, that it's cyber torture, and a lot of people are being tortured all over the world, psychologically and physically. It's a horrible form of torture. You know, no matter how corrupt the UN is, the person, the normal person that's listening to you and getting the information is going to be like, oh, the UN declared this, so this is a serious thing. So this is something that's going on in the world. They might not be able to help fix it, right, the normal person, but at least it would be cemented that, oh yeah, that's a thing, you know, especially with how bizarre the world is, right, with the you know, pandemic, fake, and everything else, right? You know, people are like, man, everything's going wacky. Yeah, they're torturing people probably. Yeah, the brain, you can read and write to the brain, kind of like a cell phone, you know. Yeah, and I think I want to do some more videos putting together, you know, and just doing it in a way where I don't just read one article, but I get a lot of good examples of consumer medical technologies that are doing exactly to us remotely, and kind of just like calling it out like that. I've done it before, but I want to do it a little bit better. Okay, so Creative Keys says, what do you think October 22nd results will be, Vulcan? Is that when he's doing it? Is that when the report's coming out? Do we have a winner? Winner, chicken dinner? Do we have a winner, chicken dinner? Are you talking about the UN report, Creative Keys? Oh, is Tina in here? Yeah, I heard about what happened to Tina's pet. Hey, Tina, I'm so sorry that happened to your pet. Yeah, I don't know what I would do if Pepper died. It sucks so bad. Like, they've hurt Pepper where she can barely. Now, I think that's a different Tina, Preston. Yeah, it's the other. I thought that. I didn't think you were Tina Plonkature. Okay, so Creative Key says, I believe, yes. Creative Keys, who told you that the report was going to be read October 22nd? I've heard so many dates, guys. I've heard October 3rd, October 5th, and then I heard October 10th. We definitely, even if you know, somebody maybe told you that, we need to be watching the Web TV UN web. Wait, I already forgot it. I already freaking forgot it. It's about to say the F word. webtv.un.org. and then United Nations on YouTube will find it. And, you know, logically, Liliana, Magnus Olson, the people that talked to him, you know, he already knew about it before the submissions. And then we're looking at a report after the submissions many months later. Does he maybe have a strategy? Does Niels Melzer maybe have a strategy of how to present it where he doesn't want to do it in one big title where the UN could say, no, you can't do that or something like that? I don't know. I mean, that's total fabrication. I don't know about that, but you know, world, yeah, I'm live. You caught it. Let's see. How can I prove to y'all that this is live? This is Taipei, Shrimp Taipei, and it's cold. Does that? I'm just kidding, y'all. Yeah, I can't read that keys, but I agree. I definitely agree. The thing that's helped me, and some of it's just natural, like when you're tortured for so long and the V2Ks for so long, you do these weird human things where you can be hearing V2K, but somehow your brain is shifted where you can still actually focus on something. And it's actually like an adaptation of your brain. But the best thing that I've done, because I was very angry the first couple of years, they've messed with my mind so much. I'm not sure, like, oh, you know, was it natural to get angry there? Were they suppressing something there? But like to neutralize your attackers as much as possible, to focus on other stuff as much as possible. That takes away the power of the intensity of the attacks. Because like if you're like focused on your attackers, you're yelling at them, and me too. Like when I will still do this. I still do this, but not as much as the beginning. But if you're yelling at them and you're so angry and you're like, oh, I hate them, and blah, blah, we all do it, right? And I'm not judging or anything like that. It's just keeping it in this loop where you're right where they want you. They want you angry at them. They want you, you know, yelling at them, and they can get a lot out of that. Like if you're not paying attention to them, you're trying to do other stuff, they hate that, right? And I just think we should do whatever they hate. But I know it's not possible all the time. So Nadia says, John Hall's book, Guinea Pigs, he talks about using brainwave entrainment software and supposedly successfully help people. I think that's very promising. I think that is really, really promising. Because there's that, I mean, I think we could even do simple stuff, you know, but I mean, that's another thing we're going to have to discuss amongst all targeted individuals, right? But I think, you know, if you want to do it, or if I want to do it, I can just do it. But there's a brainwave entrainment device that goes like right here. I think it actually covers the ears because it's, you know, if it covers the ears, I'm going to try it a lot sooner, but it goes over the head like in a, I can't think of the word, but like a band thing kind of. And it just does like pretty generic frequencies like alpha, beta, delta, and theta. And I think even if you did those general ones, right? But see, you do those general ones and it can put your brain in like an alpha state where you're focused and everything like that. And it's kind of, it's interfering and knocking out with the negative frequencies that your attackers are sending in. But I think, man, if John Hall is working on getting specific frequencies to interfere with theirs, imagine if you got Dave Casey on, then you're working with a software that can frequency and then match it with an interference frequency to entrain your brain. There's so many cool things coming out, guys. Like I'm saying in my mind, and from my experience, there's no way that we're not they're not going to be coming out with like so much better defenses, things that specifically just screw this up for you know, our attackers so bad. So many things are happening, right, that I just don't see you know, very, very helpful things that do this kind of just because it seems like this program hasn't had any resistance, right? It's just been kind of rolling over people, and everybody calls them mentally ill. But it seems like we're reaching a point where there's more and more resistance in society about just like completely ignoring this. At the very least, some people in society at least want to make money out of it, right? So Q-Wave defenders, I don't know. Q-Wave could be just a playing both sides. Maybe it belongs to the military industrial complex, but you might have, get a lot more consumer products because people are like, there's so many targeted individuals out there. Maybe they don't even believe there's targeting going on, but they're going to make a product that, can entrain the brain positively or something like that, or block out EMF. It's so much of that stuff already. So Just Aaron says, I targeted individuals, like 3 of them so far in my town. Yeah, I think a lot of people that were diagnosed with schizophrenia are targeted individuals. I do believe in just that mental illness does exist, though. And I think that, with my psychiatrist, like, because I had a bunch of different psychiatrists, I talked to them, and like I very, very quickly got schizophrenia dismissed, whatever, and it stayed with delusional disorder. But as I talked to my last psychiatrist, I talked to her, and I watched her, and she was trying to figure things out. And then she kept saying, we need to get you to a general practitioner, because, or, we said, let's go to a general practitioner and a neurologist. And even the neurologist was thinking it has to be something physically wrong with the brain, right? That you're hearing V2K. It's not, it's V2K. It's like shot at my head. It's remote audible V2K. But because I'm not insane, I can at least have a little bit of organization when I speak. I know I'm like kind of random sometimes, but they were like, this has to be something, and I do believe that exists. I believe that it's like there could be something wrong with it where they do hear like voices and stuff, but it would not be organized where it's like, hey, turn it up. Oh, this is getting evil. Oh, we got to get him out of there. Blah, blah. Hey, turn it up. Oh man, this guy is such a, it would be like, some of it would be scary. Some of it would be like, where you couldn't even understand what it is. It would present schizophrenia and like brain injuries where people's auditory cortexes are messed up. It presents in much different ways than V2K. My V2K is always orderly and organized, saying things over and over again, that it's like, it's external. It's not coming from the brain. Like if I was schizophrenic or had something wrong with my brain, it would be much more organic, and I wouldn't be like thinking I could get away from it. I'd just be like, no, it'd feel completely different, That's true. Sleeping Beauty says, I believe one would have to be mentally ill to torture another. I think it's I've had to learn more about that as we've been targeted, or as I've been targeted through the years with you guys. There's some people, man, that, there's some people that are born without empathy. Their brains are wrong. Their brains, not wrong, their brains are different, and they don't have empathy. God made a lot of different kinds of human beings, right? There's some psychopaths, they don't care about other human beings' feelings or what happens to them. It's just about how they, look to society. Do they look okay? And they'll do the darkest things because they don't care, right? And then there's some people, especially if somebody goes into the military, they'd be a good person, an honorable person. They go into the military, they're trained to kill. It changes them, it traumatizes them, it kind of makes them sociopathic. Even if they weren't sociopathic before, it traumatizes them. Even if they were doing the killing, right? It'll traumatize their brain, it'll change them. Then they get with the Masons or something, the Masons tell them that everybody's just useless eaters, and you got your psychopath from somebody who may have been the nicest person in the world. It can happen, So and then in society right now too, we've got a big problem. Everybody's being traumatized, not just targeted individuals. When people are traumatized, their poles get flipped. Like their poles get flipped, and you could describe them as like narcissists, sociopaths, or whatever. People that get so much trauma to their brain, and just I think more and more people are becoming like that. ATI's World says it starts when people are 10 to 14. That's when schizophrenia arises. I know this because my son's father has it in research too. Yeah, I mean, I think the obvious ridiculous thing is that I forgot it again. The DSM lately, I think it was like a couple of years ago, changed everything. Changed everything. This is from like years and years of psychiatry and psychology, which we know is sometimes they can help people. So I really do believe that, but I think a lot of it's kind of bunk. I don't think bunky is a word, but they changed it to where people over 40 can now develop schizophrenia. They're finding out that that was always like that, but they just didn't notice, right? And what that was when they put that in the DSM and they said, well, you know, people over 40, even people that are 80 years old can develop schizophrenia. We just didn't know from all these years of you know, psychiatrists talking to people and dealing with people with schizophrenia. Yeah, right. You know, so there's just a lie for to just change the DSM to say, oh, it was like that all along, and we just didn't know it, right? The problem with me though, like I'm not schizophrenic, but it must be like I got targeted really early on, and they were doing weird stuff when I was like a child, and then the pain and stuff like that started when I was like probably 19 or 20. The pain, but the V2K started like 2011 when I was like 30. So you know, it's hard to be like, hey, just start it here because mine is so weird. I'm sure a lot of y'all's targeting is really weird too. Creative Key says this shit gonna stop what they do real quick. Yeah, I do. I think we can change it. You know, my whole thing is you know, my whole thing is like it depends on what the UN says, and then you get treaties, right? Let me show you guys this art. I want to show you all that psychiatrist, but we'll do that on another one, just to show you all it was a big topic. Let me go in my history and find that real quick. I want to show you all that. I'm going to do a whole live stream on just that. Not this one though. I have to go through my history. I hope I can find it quick. Mike sent it to me. It's this guy who like he didn't study us at all. He didn't study targeted individuals. He watched a couple of testimonies, made sure it was people who weren't bringing up documentation, stuff like that, and then he came up with a hypothesis about what could be happening. And he's a psychiatrist. So I mean, I think if you're a psychiatrist, you shouldn't come up with just hypothesis of what could be happening. I think that's pretty criminal. It's going to be way down here. I watch YouTube so much. Way too much. Too much. Come on, come on. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Should have some elevator music while I'm looking for stuff. Or what's that circus music where it's like oh wow, it's way back there. I don't know why I did this. And I couldn't like it because it was so wrong, right? I couldn't thumbs up. Are these the only ones that I thumbs up, or are these ones that I watch? Okay, one more second, guys. I'll find it. I'll find it. Maybe somebody in chat knows what I'm talking about. The psychiatrist guy, and he has a pretty big channel, and he starts hypothesizing about us. Wait, I think I'm getting close. Warmer, warmer, warmer. That was like, it's like 2 weeks ago. And how much YouTube can I watch in 2 weeks? Let me tell you. Let me tell you a lot of YouTube. I can watch a lot of YouTube in 2 weeks. Nah, I can't. I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to look through while I'm not doing a live stream. Wait. Okay, fail on that one. Thank you, Preston. I crack myself up sometimes. Yeah, I'm agreeing. Tina Godzilla says Trump is one of them. Creative Key says Trump has been talking about deep state and said there are evil people running the streets and people in a speech. There's two factions at the top, guys. There's like two factions up at the top of the pyramid, and Trump and crew are on one side of it, and there's some infighting. There's some infighting pretty close to the top. It's like in the media is on the black tile and Trump is on the white tile, and that's why the media hates Trump, because he is trying to do some good things. But I think any good thing that somebody, it's trying to lead to more control of people and everything that the UN wants. I don't know, man. I mean, they pulled out of the Paris climate accords. He does some stuff where I'm just like, no way. They would never let him do that. If he was a complete puppet on a string, there's no way they would have let him pull out of the Paris climate accords. There's no way that he would have done this. There's no way he would have done that. But then it's like, oh, he wants the United States to be #1 in 5G. So it's like, did they get to pick and choose kind of how they work for the top of the pyramid? I don't know. I'm still looking for this thing. I'm going to have to look for it some other time. Dog, does anybody know the psychiatrist I'm talking about? Should have saved that. Okay, we'll move on. We'll move on. Just wanted to see if maybe I could find it. But I can't. I'll look for him and this other guy that was used all the same straw man arguments of why would you be so special? How could the government use so much money to watch you all day? But it has nothing to do with that, right? I mean, a lot of people are being surveilled and tortured, and it's making money. If they have these huge InfraGard and all that gang stalking while they're surveilling people and mapping their brains and getting more information and scaling up and doing training, research, and development with AI and AI directed, integrated neuro weapons, integrated directed energy weapons. It's all about money. That's it. Yeah. Creative Keys. Thank you. It's Dr. Todd Grande. Thank you. Creative Key says once he is briefed by Neil's UN and mainstream, it will be out. See, that's if it happens right, people like that, right, who they've already picked up the topic and they've said, well, this is what could be happening, blah blah blah. The UN says it, and they can't say that because everybody in the comment would be like, hey, the UN just spoke on this, Sleeping Beauty says, I can't even imagine how many letters the WH has received from Americans that are being tortured. If they cared, they would have stopped this by now. Yeah. I think we've got to understand what it is, though, Sleeping Beauty. I mean, this is like every military industrial complex of every country. There's like global, stuff above that, even like the Pentagon here. They're making so much money, it's so dangerous. Like if somebody who was doing it like came out and talked about it, they would be targeted, their family would be targeted. So it's not, I don't think that it's like, I think it, like the example I gave on the last video, it's like a mafia. We live in a mafia world where it's like people know, they're like, man, that's really evil, but like I gotta keep my mouth shut or something because like my family might be killed. I was never, I mean, I've been punished too for speaking out of the truth, but I'm not like a big deal, what would you call it at the UN, like the nation state, somebody who represents a nation state. What's the WH? What is WH? Oh, the White House. Duh. Okay, I want to show you all this. Dr. Todd Grant. I just want to just show you all a little bit of it. How long are we going? An hour and a half? Yeah, we're fine. To kind of do like a little 2-hour live stream. Let me look this up. I just want to show the beginning, but I'm going to do a whole live this other guy. And he has a huge channel. Let's look at some of the comments too. Let's see where we're at with the comments with the people. Dr. Todd with the people. Grande. Oof. Oh, my attackers are like that. Yeah, let's check this out. Let's check this out. I'm going to pull it up before I switch screens because I think that it doesn't bring it over. And let's see, it's 487,000 subscribers. God, he does tons of videos. He does like a couple of videos every day. Was it that far back? Did he take it down? Because I'm going back 3 weeks ago. Let's look for it together here. Let me share the screen so I can show you all what I'm looking at. He didn't take it down, did he? That's what I bet you he'd take it down. So he'd like look into it more, see that it's really happening, he'd be like, well, I'm not going to correct it or say that it's really happening. I'm just going to take that down and not talk about it again because it's too uncomfortable. All these people are dying and being tortured, and there's so many bad things going on in the world, so many lies, destroying people's lives. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and let evil just, have its way in the world. Dwight Schrute did a video on Dwight Schrute. Okay, here it is. Oh, it's only 12 minutes. Okay, we can watch this. Let's watch it. I wonder if he'll give me a copyright. Let me make sure y'all can see this. Yeah, it's on the same screen. Let's go back to the beginning. I kind of wanted to save it for a longer live stream. But if I can find the other guy who talks about it too, he's not a psychiatrist or anything. He's just some regular guy with, I think, a very small YouTube channel. I might just show it again or something and just scream and be like, this guy's stupid, 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 stupid. Yeah, Alan says Dr. Grande just views it as illness, another expert. I'm an expert, and I'd say if I did study targeted individuals or directed energy weapons or any of that stuff that I didn't really look at, I'd probably have some information, but instead, what I'm going to do is I looked at a couple of targeted individuals living on the streets, and they didn't have any documents or anything, and they kind of had some wacky stories because, they say their heads are being microwaved. So I have a hypothesis. I mean, a psychiatrist giving a hypothesis? Yeah, it's TI's world. You don't want to watch it? Can we watch the whole thing? Will I get striked? Will I get stricken from showing Dr. Todd? No, we need to show it on my channel, because then if maybe he'll make a video saying, hey, somebody, a targeted individual showed my video, and then people can come to this channel.
Question asks if I can analyze the construct of gang stalking. So sometimes with this construct, the people who believe they are subjected to it call themselves targeted individuals.
Cyber torture survivors now. Cyber torture survivors now. And this is the irony of this, guys, is that every time I pause the video, his eyes are closed. Through the medium, right?
In this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe to my channel,
look,
and consider
wait, I just want to listen to that again.
Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoy this video, please like it.
So, okay, you got millions of people around the world saying we're being murdered in our homes. There's these directed energy weapons. They exist and everything. So instead of like looking into that, let's just speculate about it. Let's just speculate about it not happening because I don't want it to be happening. I mean, that's what he's doing. It's like, I don't want this to be happening, and it would hurt my career if I said it was happening. So let's just do a hypothetical situation where I say, what if this wasn't happening? And then I present that to you as the reality. I mean, isn't that how everything's done in society?
And consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. So before I talk about the construct of gang stalking, I think it's important as individual stalking. I guess one could use the terms regular or traditional stalking as well, although that seems a little unusual to put it that way. So the idea is that when we think of the word stalking, we think of one person who is going after another, right? So I'm going to use the person A, person B situation.
I'll probably play it through, guys, and then when he presents a straw man argument, then if I do have something up that completely disproves it, I'll show that. But then, you know, counterpoint the straw man argument. That's all they have. Why are you so special? How does the government have so much money to do all this? None of those have anything to do with this. Have anything to do with it.
So person A is the stalker and person B is the victim. So the way we think of it is that person A is connected to person B in some way, or they used to be connected with person B.
Yeah, no views.
For good.
What, Charles? What is he? Hey, Charles. Is he just a YouTuber? Is this guy just a YouTuber?
Person A engages in a pattern behavior where they watch person B, they follow person B.
Really?
They attempt to contact.
Okay, so Charles is saying that he's not a psychologist. So maybe he just made up, maybe he just put, oh, he's a therapist. So he still has the doctor in front of his name. Yeah, that's a therapist is not as knowledgeable or has as much information as a psychologist, definitely. We're gonna watch the video. It's pretty short, but then let's see the comments, because I think we might be pleasantly surprised by the comments. Generation says they get paid to write scientific articles against TIs to make the narrative. I've seen several of them. They won't even admit COINTELPRO stalking and MK Ultra. They think eugenics was a right idea. Yeah, there's so many magazines like Wired and then newspapers who are owned by, you know, they have the puppet strings of the people at the top of the pyramid who believe in eugenics, and they trust, I think, a lot of sick people, and I'm talking about like evil sick. They know about the targeting. They may be in a position to do something about it, but what they say is, and a lot of these ex-military guys who live around me, it's like they kind of know something's going on. Like they know that this exists, but what they do in their head is they're like, well, the system's just picking people who deserve to die, or the system's just picking people who they had their chance and they made a mistake or something, and this technology is really important for the rest of society. So, you know, there's all these kind of justifications that are completely wrong. And I think that a lot of people who know about this, who may even consider themselves to be good, they're like, oh, well, you know, the system, we got to trust the system to pick the people who like deserve this and who deserves a lifetime of torture and isolation and cancer from the microwaves and their brain being turned inside out.
Texting, emailing, sending letters, and sometimes person A even threatens person B. This construct of individual stalking is sometimes referred to as unwanted pursuit behavior, although stalking doesn't have to be associated with some type of romantic relationship. It almost always is, but again, it doesn't have to be. So individual stalking is fairly common at some point in their lives. 8% of women and 2% of men will be victims of this type of behavior. Gang stalking or group stalking is quite a bit different. It involves the use of multiple individuals to stalk, harass, or threaten.
BM says willful ignorance on the part of Todd. Yeah, that's what I see in a lot of people who are like, hey, I've heard about this targeted individual thing, and you know, and they just don't look at any of the information that proves it. That's number one, and then don't want it to be happening. So to make up facts to go with that hypothesis that it's not happening, and the people that are saying it's happening, you know, are mentally ill or whatever. When anybody can look up DHS fusion centers, anybody can look up InfraGard and everything like that. Let's wait for them to say the first thing about why this doesn't exist, and then I have something pulled up on the web that proves that has one of the gang stalking groups.
Organized with a clear purpose. So we're not talking about stalking by proxy. So we're not talking about a situation where person A would hire people to threaten or spy on person B. Also, online bullying does not count as part of this definition. The phenomenon of...
Hold on, guys. Turn it off. Turn the volume down. Emergency alert, National Weather Service. A flash flood warning is in effect for this area until 4 a.m. CDT. This is a dangerous and life-threatening situation. Do not attempt to travel unless you are fleeing an area subject to flooding or under an evacuation order. Yeah, it just started raining in Baton Rouge today. Like it just started raining like this evening. Like I woke up at maybe like 5 or 6 or something like that, and then it started raining at about like 7 here, and already it's like 2 in the morning, but I went out at like 8 and it was already flooding the streets. So it's like heavy rain. Charles says he is also high on something. His pupils are dilated. A TI's World said, what is this doctor on? What is this doctor on? Yeah, ATI's World, please do. Let's just see what he has to say. I don't know if he talks about the weapons. I can't remember.
Gang stalking or group stalking is also reported much less than individual stalking. About 0.66% of adult women and 0.17% of adult men will have the subjective experience of being gang stalked at some point in their lives. Now, when approaching this subject from a neutral stance, like scientists would if they were conducting a study, the assumption would be that gang stalking could be real. Like there could be a lot of people out there who are actually experiencing this.
Okay.
Or it could be, in many cases.
I didn't know he said anything.
This behavior is distressing to people if it's real and if it's a delusion. So either way, it's important to get a better understanding.
And you know, he mentions delusion. In the first psychiatrist I went to see after I got out of the loony bin, or the short-term behavioral center, he said, you know, and that's when he took the schizophrenia diagnosis off, when he talked to me out, because I had it when I went to the mental institution place. And he said, you know, Kyle, I think you have delusional disorder. And I said, well, doctor, that doesn't make sense because this is actually happening. Like, I am being gang stalked. My neighbors are doing crap to me. And I'm being hit with weapons. And I have voice to skull. And these are all weapons. These are frequencies and stuff. So it is happening. He goes, I didn't say that it's not happening. He said, when you label something as delusional disorder, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not true. It just means that whoever has the delusional disorder, they believe something and are experiencing something that the whole of society really doesn't know a lot about. Like, have y'all ever heard something so crazy? Like, he's saying delusional disorder isn't actually because of things not happening. He said it's really just because a lot of people don't know about what's happening to you. Was he just lying to me? Was he just trying to make me feel better? I don't know. BM says people like him are willfully ignorant of the targeting because they don't want to have to admit to their lies. Not necessarily the lies they tell others, but the lies they tell themselves. Boom. It's a survival thing. Because think if this guy had to say, this is real, these people are being targeted, they've been targeted by weapons, they're targeted by their communities, they're targeted by people out in their cities and stuff like that. That could happen to anybody. Because a big system like that just targeting people, it's obviously not going to, even in the court system with many checks and balances, does not mete out justice sometimes. So if they're doing it under the surface and everything, so most people don't want this to be happening because it's like they won't feel safe. They won't feel safe. And that's selfish because we're actually dying. Karen says the demonstration of due evidence by the weather and earthquake reporting. Mike Morales and Dutch Sensei. Yeah, that's a whole nother, it's like all part of the same thing, like this abuse of electromagnetic frequencies and them actually harnessing stuff in the ionosphere. Charles knows a lot about this. Charles knows way more than me because like I learned most of it from him, but like harnessing the electromagnetic frequencies natural to the earth and then directing them to create lightning or to create fires or to to push weather patterns, to create weather patterns, and then also creating this infrastructure with it to target people's brains and nervous systems and target their bodies externally. So there's like this is really all rolled up in the like hiding directed energy from the public and how many things can be done with it. Because it's like directed energy is how all the new things that are making the most money have to do with directed energy. That's kind of my view of it. Generation says it's interesting. Shrink have a delusional disorder just from shrinks in the DSM. Yeah, they vote on things for the DSM. Yeah, it's definitely eugenics. There's a lot of stuff in our society that's very conditioning, and it's it's not right in our faces that slowly conditioning people into eugenics kind of thought. And then there's these huge like in your face things where they're just killing people because it's like, oh, well, those people, they did something in society, and they just kind of like, these are the type of people we're going to kind of target if they did this or if they did that or if they speak out. They see people who are like non-compliant and who will never lie is kind of like we're not built for this eugenics program, right? Because everybody has to agree with even lies, right? So a lot of stuff about targeted individuals are like society because they like to tell the truth, because they actually care about doing what's right, because they're not just going to go along to get along, right? And not just that, that's just like one example, but y'all know what I mean.
In 2015, an exploratory study on gang stalking was published. In the study, the researchers compared gang stalking to individual stalking and noted a number of characteristics of the victims of gang stalking that distinguish them from victims of individual stalking.
Yeah,
in the study, gang stalking victims tended to be mostly female. The stalking behavior lasted longer than what we tend to see with individual stalking. Almost all the participants had no idea who the stalker was. Very few thought it was a former partner. That's quite different from individual stalking, where people would almost always know who the perpetrator was.
Yeah, right. I think,
see that there was
you know,
little
I'm
going on.
angry about this because I think it's something he says, but right now it's like, okay, he's staying neutral. He's just talking about it or whatever. But I think later on he gets a lot more
Communication
insulting.
in the form of letters, emails, and texts. They are more likely to report being spied on, secretly photographed, and having lies spread about them. They were more likely to be scared, depressed, have post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms, increased aggressiveness, and increased distrust. They were less likely to believe their personality. We see they are also more likely to report disruptions in their lives across many areas. Just a few examples: they tend to be more fearful about going out, their work performance was affected, they give up on social activities more, lose friends, they're more likely to carry a weapon, and probably most importantly, they tend to be more delusional. When putting all these clues together, it seems pretty clear that most
Well, and you could say this too,
are
because he's not going into the weapons, you know, the weapons torture too. It's like, dude, individual stalking has nothing to do. It's not even close to being like gang stalking and being targeted by directed energy weapons. And the thing where these targeted individuals were in these tests and they appeared to be kind of loose. They had a lot of crazy thoughts, right? Well, because it's like such a complicated system. There's so many things coming at you, and your brain's being microwaved. So, right, you have somebody who's being individually stalked. They're not being hit with neuro weapons or microwave weapons. So it's like, oh, maybe their thoughts are a little bit more organized. Appeared.
Experiencing delusions.
Appeared.
And this theory about delusions really explains a lot. It explains why they can't identify who's doing the stalking, why they're not getting written or digital communication.
No, okay. Is not. It's not. It's not. It doesn't explain how they don't know who is stalking them. It's because this is a huge, like, glitch in every country, in every city. There's DHS fusion centers and InfraGard, and you piss somebody off or you do the wrong thing or whatever. If they just target you, a lot of us do put people in this program. Then somebody starts attacking you, and it's like, oh, it's remote. It's remote. And the people who are gang stalking you belong to organizations like DHS Fusion Center. They're in your neighborhood and stuff like that. They were just like, you know, tasked with gang stalking you. Obviously, you don't know. Just the way the system's set up, where you don't know the people stalking you, don't know their first names or anything like that unless you find them out. It's the way it's set up. It's not even comparable. The individual stalking and gang stalking and being targeted is just not even comparable.
And why they experienced the stalking for such a long duration. Even though individual stalkers can stay around for a while, eventually they usually give up. But with the gang stalking, we see that goes on for many years. There are many.
Because it is a system where people are being experimented on, in the gang stalking from DHS Fusion Centers and InfraGard and other organizations too, like Private Eyes and stuff like that. They make money to surveil, to harass, to do street theater, and to do all those things to us. They make money to do those things. So it's this industry. It's an industry of experimenting, torturing, raping people, destroying their lives. An industry, a worldwide industry, because DHS Fusion, so there's a DHS Fusion Center in Louisiana, and I don't know where the one is here. It can communicate with the DHS Fusion Center in England. So say I go to England, the DHS Fusion Center that was kind of coordinating all my gang stalking here can communicate with them and have me gang stalk when I'm in England. I forgot what my point about that was.
Different ways to divide the subjective experience of gang stalking into categories. There are certain categories or beliefs that occur more frequently than others. Here's a list of some of the more popular categories of beliefs from a qualitative study.
It's not so bad so far. I think he should have done more. He should have researched. I mean, okay, directed energy weapons exist. Surveillance exists. DHS Fusion Centers exist. InfraGard exists.
After each category, I'll provide some of the exemplar quotes for that
Study
category.
Look it up. Look the weapons
I will
up.
paraphrase some of the quotes. So looking at the categories, we see that being followed occurs about 90% of the time. So 90% of people who have the subjective experience of gang stalking endorsed this category.
Yeah.
They believe they were being mobbed. For example, I am followed by people wearing elaborate disguises, and cars are tailgating me, and the drivers are using walkie-talkies. Next category, multiple agencies are involved in the conspiracy. 80% believe this. So the government is behind it all with the help of local police, and the people are recruited by Homeland Security from Craigslist and the FBI.
No.
So
okay.
I've heard about Homeland Security.
No. Okay. What he did right there is he may have taken what one targeted individual said, right? Oh, well, I think that DHS fusion centers are, and maybe they do recruit gang stalkers from Craigslist, but that saying it like that makes it sound ludicrous when it's like there are lots of people who are already working for people from people who might do mass shootings or blah blah to protect the community, and you've got people who learn about it in many different other ways. To work for, let's look it up right now. Work for DHS fusion centers. I'm gonna stop sharing screen on this. Is that Craigslist line pisses me off. It's the only way. It's what all targeted individuals think, that that all gang stalking perpetrators are recruited off of Craigslist or something. Let's look. Work for centers. We're going to go to the get job thing. We're not actually going to be hired by. Let me pull this up real quick. So, operate at centers that serve as focal points in states and major urban areas for their receipt, analysis, gathering, and sharing of threat-related information between state, local, tribal, and territorial, federal, and private sector partners. No. I'm not going to do that. How do I get involved? So you can go to the DHS Fusion Center page, get involved, and you can get jobs with them. And then people who do work for them can tell their friends about them and stuff like that. So it's not like this Craigslist thing. If you see something, say something. Learn about indicators of terrorism and violent crime, and about the importance of reporting suspicious activity to the proper state and local law enforcement. Citizens Corp. So that's what the gang stalkers who work for DHS Fusion Centers, they're called the Citizens Corp. The Citizens Corps. The mission of the Citizens Corps is empower individuals through education, training, and volunteer service to make communities safer, stronger, and better prepared to respond to the threats of terrorism, crime, public health issues, and disasters of all kinds. They say something like that in general, and then they say community policing. And then let's just take me. I'm being microwave, remote neural manipulated, stuff like that. Okay, let's take tonight. I walk Pepper, and there's this blonde-headed lady, and she looks at me, and she looks really scared of me, and like she's definitely like a DHS Fusion Center or InfraGard gang stalker. Who knows what she's been told about me? Like, oh, you're going to keep your community safer. This guy did something, but really being, tortured, attacked, microwaved. She doesn't know me at all, but then she's just acting like she does know something about me because she trusts authority, right? So Citizens Corps. Let me pull this one up too. I don't want to get too far off of Dr. Todd Poopyface. But let me show you this one I have pulled off. Other ones besides DHS Fusion Centers and InfraGard, there are other organizations too, like community, like the Sheriff's Community Watch too, that do participate. So you got, and this isn't their page. They have a page. The FBI has a page for InfraGard, but this was a targeted individual activist. InfraGard, the FBI's gang stalker recruitment arm, and there's so many organizations that do this. I guess I won't play testimony. I may do that on another video, but I just wanted to show y'all InfraGard. I want to close and accept that. Okay, so let's go back and listen to Mr. Todd Grande. It's not that bad so far. He's taken a neutral position. I still think he should have studied it more, but it does start to get insulting, you know, more towards the end. Because he calls us delusional.
In the FBI as part of gang stalking, I haven't heard of Craigslist coming up too much. Next category is electronic surveillance, 60% here. My home is bugged, and I am a victim of 24/7 covert electronic surveillance. We see physical interference, so people are blocking me with grocery carts, people are invading my personal space, people on the street are running into me, and I've been forced off the road numerous times by cars when driving. Mind control is at 40%. The government is fully able to take control of everyone's thoughts, and they insert thoughts and ideas into my mind, and it took me a while to figure out that the thoughts were not mine. Electronic hacking is common, 40%.
These are very common things because it's a new world. It's a new world, and new technologies are coming out rapidly and exponentially. And then from World War II, they're experimenting with mind control. They can do it with radio frequencies. They can do it with electromagnetic frequencies, microwaves, you know, same thing. And then they're scaling up the technology. If the brain can be affected by electromagnetic frequencies, like the military-industrial complex isn't going to do anything about that. Let's just hold off on that and let these consumer markets and hospitals, and then Elon Musk. We'll wait for Elon Musk to come out with the Neuralase thing.
Information from my cell phone was stolen so that they can arrange street theater in which well-rehearsed live dramas take place. It's like half complaint and half compliment, right? It's like they enjoyed the street theater, but they were mad that it was part of
Flat Earth Space Agency.
Next category, people sneaking into their house when they're not there, 35% endorse this. People break into my house when I'm not home and move stuff around, and I can't leave my house because they will move around my undergarments. Now, the last two categories are about people who are part of the conspiracy. We see police are part of the conspiracy, that's 30%, and neighbors are part, that's 25%. So we see things like state police helicopters are following me around, and many of my neighbors, but not all, are involved. Now, it's curious why somebody would think certain neighbors are involved and not others. I think a lot of this is based on to what degree those neighbors believe the individual who believes they're gang stalked. So if somebody tends to be a good listener and they tend to believe the person, usually that person will not think that other person is part of the conspiracy. So neighbors that are supportive might not get included in that conspiracy group. We see that these beliefs come with a lot of negative effects.
Okay, now let me tell you the reality of why not every neighbor is involved, because some neighbors are working for Community Watch, the Sheriff's Community Watch, or DHS Fusion Centers or InfraGard. Some neighbors aren't approached. They aren't approached and they don't know what's going on. And that's why. I mean, it's as simple as that. These things are like, you know, he's sitting here hypothesizing. You don't need to hypothesize. You got DHS Fusion Center website. You got the InfraGard website. You've got professionals who worked on the technology. You've got professionals like Dr. Ronnie Kilda. Like, what would he think if he actually reached out and looked at, you know, Dr. Ronnie Kilda's work? She was the, what was she? As a Surgeon General of Finland? The Surgeon General of Finland. This isn't some crazy person.
Like feeling isolated,
or some non-professional person.
Counterattack. So
which non-professional people should still be believed. I should still be believed.
Well, in a way, it really has been. Gang stalking is really a version of paranoid and persecutory delusions. What has changed? Why is this now something
See, if
that's being
he's
discussed?
hypothesizing,
Well,
he says he's hypothesizing, and then when he said that it's, persecutory delusions, he seemed pretty concrete on that. Well, I'm just going to hypothesize about it and stay neutral. But then, like later on, he's like, "Oh, and yeah, these are delusions, right?" It's not neutral.
it's really about
It's
communication,
like making up stuff.
specifically the ability to connect with an online informal community of people who believe the same thing. There's something very powerful about feeling a sense of belonging, even if that connection is made because of a negative experience. Years ago, if somebody had delusions, they would interact mostly with family, friends, and mental health professionals. Now they can reach out to a much wider community. In one way, of course,
Thank
that's
God.
good. They're finding support. In another way,
Let me say
it's
that.
unhealthy.
Thank God that we can reach out to each other in online communities, because this is really happening. Period. And people who want to say we're mentally ill and say like, "Oh, well, those people in the online communities, they're like amping up people's delusions because this is," no, you're completely wrong. Like, thank God we have these communities where we can talk about this, because it's happening 100%. In saying what they're saying, that like we're an echo chamber or whatever, and the people who are trying to help, like people would say that I'm like evil because I'm strengthening y'all's delusions and my own, but that's not the reality. I'm being targeted with heavy microwave weaponry, remote neural manipulation that reads and writes to the brain. Yes, mind control. Yes, mind control. How severe in each targeted individual, that's different, depends on the protocol, depends on the person. But evilest thing when somebody is being tortured, we step up, right? Targeted individuals that make video channels. Oh, we're pushing along people's delusions. We're trying to help people who are really dying. They're really being attacked by weapons. How irresponsible is this man? And this man is a therapist or whatever, and people would look at him and be like, he's a professional. They would listen to him. And me, I'm telling the truth. I'm experiencing it. Y'all are experiencing it. Oh no, that expert said it wasn't happening, right? How many other things in our society go along with just that? Like the CV thing. It's like the experts say that it's very, very deadly, and they're but the people who've really looked at experts, right? Got to believe in science. Was it that lady, the vice president? Oh, I can't believe it. Pence and Harris, Kamala Harris was saying something about like, we got to believe in science. And all I was thinking of is like, all the science is made up. It's like science is the false flags and lies that they're telling. So the more that people believe in the science from the experts, the more that they believe in this lie, in a lie that's things that aren't happening in society, but things that they want to use to scare us with, right? And I'm actually not saying that CV, that there's nothing there. That's so complicated, and I do think there is a novel CV. I just think they're counting a lot of people with regular colds that die of other things, and then they're lumping in people who died of motorcycle accidents and things like that. There may actually be a novel CV, but it didn't spread as much as they say. But I'm not sure. Alan says, it is amazing the power of authority. Yeah. Cops, shrinks, pastors, etc., and still be 100% wrong. I find that authority is usually not exceptionally 100% wrong. It's like, it's the rule. It's the rule that if somebody's in a place of authority, they're going to lie. They're either going to know that they're lying, or they're going to be they're going to be indoctrinated so that they're just telling lies, which they think, oh yeah, that's what's happening. The higher you get up in the chain or the pyramid or whatever, you probably do start thinking the lies are the truth.
Because it reinforces beliefs that are not positive, that could lead to negative outcomes. These communities often promote behavior like following law enforcement around.
How about you look at my channel, because I empower people. We find offenses. We do the positive thing. We don't go out and do anything dangerous. I don't know any TI channel where they tell people to go out and do any, and I don't know any TI channel where they tell people to follow cops around. I've never heard of that.
Following politicians around,
Never heard of that.
Professionals, and neighbors. Ironically, many of the people who say they're victims of gang stalking are actually engaging in stalking behavior.
Turn it around on us.
Crime Day is back.
Abuse us, torture us, rape us, isolate us, and then double persecute us by saying that we're mentally ill and we're not really experiencing it, and then do us even worse.
Aaron Alexis, sometimes called the Navy Yard shooter, who killed 12 people at the Washington, D.C. Navy Yard in 2013. Myron May, who in 2014 shot 3 people in the Florida State University library. And Gavin Long, who shot and killed 3 Baton Rouge, Louisiana police officers and wounded 3 others in 2016. Looking online, we find material designed to support targeted individuals. But much of that material is not from mental health professionals. Much of it is from people who consider themselves targeted individuals.
How could it come from mental health professionals when mental health professionals are glued to the DSM? And if they say that this exists, even if they know it exists and they say it, they will lose their job because the DSM says this does not exist. It's conditioned everybody into believing that there can be no programs where people are stalked. There can be no programs where people are surveilled. There can be no programs where people are directed energy is used on people. DSM says, nope, that can't exist ever, when reality is showing a completely different thing. And so why would we want mental health professionals who are just have their heads glued to the DSM saying exactly what the lies that the DSM says?
It's easy to confuse quality information from misinformation. The way that people with these beliefs give advice to others.
And let me tell you guys, this is the prime example. This man right here, even though maybe he's just a therapist or whatever, but people like him. It's why that when we're a targeted individual, our testimonies are good and we need to get them out. But it's at a certain point, we got to start putting up documents, just documenting things. Because people like this, even if you are the most eloquent person in the world, your brain's still microwave, but you could still talk very well and you give your testimony, they will find any way to say it's a delusion, to say it's just, oh, it's your own thoughts. You know,
beliefs is actually quite telling. Some of this information is written in a way that has good grammar, but the content, of course, is incorrect. A lot of it is really about how the paranoid feelings are justified, how there's a conspiracy, and how you can't let the fact that there's no evidence to support the claim get in the way.
Okay, so he's exactly wrong. There's a multitude of evidence, and we have put that evidence out. And I can just say 4 names, and I'll say more. You got Dr. James Giordano, you got Dr. Robert Duncan, you got Dr. Barry Trower, you got Dr. John Hall, but then also you got where you can look up Air Force Research Laboratory with millions of dollar contracts that go out to private contractors for the experimentation of directed energy on people, just those things. Like, I wish I had them to just pull off, but okay, so no evidence. Hold on, I'm gonna pull up one thing. I didn't really plan on showing this tonight, but let's pull up this one thing here. So no, not a lot of evidence. There's not a lot of evidence. Let's see what the U.S. Department of Defense. I mean, because the U.S. Department of Defense is just a kooky, crazy conspiracy website, right? It has the Pentagon right on it. Ready, aim, fire, hypersonics, directed energy, lasers. The Defense Department's enduring mission is to provide combat-ready forces to deter war and protect the security of the United States. One of the ways DoD maintains the competitive edge of its troops is through a diverse system of research and development laboratories, kind of like Air Force Research Laboratory that puts out hundreds of millions of dollar contracts to private contractors to study the effects of directed energy on people. And that's only just one angle, right? You've got the DIA, the CIA, the NSA, who have contractors that more want to map the brain, right? Air Force Research Laboratory also wants to do that, right? They put out the contracts saying just test it out on people. They don't put all the brain mapping, remote neural manipulation within that general context of the contract. The DoD laboratories design new tools for cyber defense. It's really cyber terrorism. Like, see, because everything's inverted like 1984. So they're saying we need cyber defense. We need microwaves for cyber defense. And what they end up doing is they end up using it for cyber terrorism and cyber murder on innocent civilians. Evaluate new concepts for autonomous vehicles and advanced military critical technology in areas such as advanced computing, big analytics, artificial intelligence, autonomy, robotics, directed energy, hypersonics, and biotechnology. Where does biotechnology goes inside of human beings' bodies? So when they're experimenting on somebody with frequencies and microwaves and implants and everything, biotechnology. It's all building up more knowledge, training, research, and development for more biotechnologies. So let's look at this. I think hypersonics is something that we're all hit by a lot, but directed energy. The Air Force Research Laboratory showed its conceptual high-power microwave systems, a class of directed energy weapons where a very short, extremely high-power burst of energy is transmitted to create a wide variety of effects on a target, often focused on its electronics components. Now, they're not going to put up here, and we're going to hit a bunch of innocent Americans, right? Or in whatever country you're in, we're going to hit a bunch of innocent people in New Zealand or Australia or whatever. I'm not just going to advertise that, but I think that seeing the DoD say it, and then hearing a bunch of people testify, giving their testimonies that they're being hit with something, their brain's being messed with, and they don't necessarily seem crazy. It's not a justification to say, oh well, the world's changing and there's more technology, so mental illness just shows up differently. I mean, that's the conspiracy theory, delusion, wrong thought, is that, oh, the world's just changed, so now mental illness is kind of different. A lot of people think they're being hit with directed energy weapons and gang stalked. That just popped up. That just popped up in society. Society just changed. And so people started having this new mental illness, right? But the weapons exist, the programs exist, all that stuff exists. I guess if you just don't talk about those things, then you can show this in a way where it looks like mental illness. Generation says, oh, Tina says Starlink, guys. Yeah, they're putting up so many new satellites, and that's not good for... I don't know about us because it's like we're already targeted, but they're trying to target more people. At TI's World, the weather is very bad. I'm going to show you all something about the hurricane after this. Let's finish this. Let's finish Dr. Jerkface Butthole. He's such a snake because he's saying he's going to try and stay neutral, but then he immediately goes into saying like, yeah, this is delusion, blah, blah. I'm going to try and stay neutral, but yeah, these delusions, blah, blah, blah.
Mental health professionals, law enforcement, politicians, judges, lawyers, everyone is in on the conspiracy, except, of course, for the targeted individuals.
No. See, that's a generalization lie that he just did, because I don't think everybody's in on it. I go to a psychiatrist, she doesn't know about it. Like, she's not in on it. My mom's not in on it. Not even the most hyper vigilant targeted individual thinks that everybody is in on it. Maybe there's a targeted individual out there who maybe has the incorrect thought that everybody in the world is involved in their targeting and they're the only real person in the world. I could imagine that exists, but let's say 99% of targeted individuals understand that not everybody is involved in hurting them. Now, the program may send people in your direction, right? So you get more people in your life that are hurting you, but we know that it's not everybody. That's just completely incorrect.
They describe the typical targeted individual.
That's insulting.
As having a
That's insulting that he said that he generalized targeted individuals and he said, yeah, and they think that everybody's in on it. Because what that does is people who don't know about this subject and have not heard our testimonies, they're like, man, they're in on that. Well, then yeah, obviously it can't be true because not everybody can be on it. Not everybody can be in on it. But it's like I say, I'm a target individual, and you guys can put in chat what y'all think. No, not everybody's in on it. So he's completely wrong. I want to, I thought it was a longer video. These things are very strong.
Very high IQ.
The things that he's saying.
History of political activism and being influential. It's like they see themselves as threatening to the mainstream culture, government, and society in general. One of the main challenges with these types of delusions is it's almost like they were perfectly engineered to prevent someone from getting mental health treatment. The delusions work against attempts to get help. It's ironic how the advice of mental health professionals
That's insane. That is insane.
Like, well, don't engage in those online discussions. Stay isolated from them. It's easy to understand how somebody with paranoia could look at that advice and say, that's exactly what the government wants me to do. They don't want me to team up with like-minded individuals because we're revolutionaries with great ideas and they're trying to stop us. So again, everything about the delusion resists treatment. The problem is that it's only going to get worse as these online communities increase in size.
No, and let me tell you why it gets worse. Because I've heard a lot of people say this who aren't targeted. They're like, the thing with targeted individuals, things seem to get worse for them. The reason why things seem to get worse for us is because this is a protocol by the auditors and our attackers are hooking more and more into our brain and our nervous system, and they can induce more pain in the body. And usually when you're tortured all the time, things do get worse in your life. So there are some very, very concrete, embedded in reasons why, yeah, we get worse. And also, look at this. This is supposed to look like mental illness. Does he take that into account? Does anybody, I know you guys take, this is because if they didn't make it look like mental illness, more people would be asking questions about it. But if it looks like mental illness, and things get worse, people's brains kind of deteriorate. So this targeting, it's a big thing of making it worse and worse and worse, just for those ones, just so it can fool little people like him. Yeah, Flat Earth Space Agent says pencil pusher fraud, GTFO. Yeah, Celine 007 says, why is this guy spending so much time attempting to discredit us? What does he gain? What does he have to lose by speaking more thoughtfully about other topics? I think this is kind of why I want to show it, but the topic is getting bigger and bigger. It's getting out there where people have to say something about it because so many people are talking about it, right? And obviously, since he's a therapist, he can't say that it's actually happening, because it'd bring trouble into his life, probably. It'd bring trouble into his life, or he wouldn't feel like he's part of the normal system, right? Because everybody denies this stuff. For what I think is instinctual safety. I'm really behind it, Joe. Yeah, Tice World said, a Vulcan Wolverine, we are targeted because we are smarter than they are. I agree. I think there's a lot of reasons somebody could be targeted. A lot of different reasons. But you get funneled into this program where they're doing these protocols that somebody else who was maybe put into the program for a different reason, So it becomes kind of the same. Yeah, Jerusha says, I've never thought everyone was in on it. It doesn't take too many people to create a bad situation for you. Yeah, and it's like if it's a system that's built, they can all be doing a compartmentalized action. Like, I may even have some gang stalkers, and you guys probably have some examples of this, but I probably have some gang stalkers that they know nothing about the weapons. They know nothing about the weapons. They don't know that I'm being tortured and murdered in my home, but I walk out there and I look sick and stuff, then they're gang stalking me, right? So it's this compartmentalized activity, right? You have all the DHS Fusion Centers, InfraGard, Community Watch doing this part of the activity, that plays into the experimentation, torture, isolation, and stuff like that. Unprecedented where there's such a huge system with so many different and destroys so many different lives. But I think that's the important point where these people who want to discredit us and say this isn't happening, the first thing they have to do is turn it into there's a targeted individual that thinks they're so special, and then there's all these resources on them, right? If they framed it as there's all these people in the world, and all these people in the world are being gang stalked, surveilled, they're being like hit with directed, it's all these people, all these different people. Oh, well, what could the obvious thing? Oh, they're experimenting on and destroying the lives of a lot of different personalities, cultures, intelligence levels, everything, different religions, philosophies, say culture, races, everything like that, so they can learn more about human beings. So when they map somebody's brain, they can learn a lot about a Christian's brain and an atheist's brain, a white person's brain, a black person's brain, a Chinese person's brain, a Indian person's brain, you know. It's so they can get this wide spectrum of results of what can we make this person do? How does this, because people's brains have evolved differently, like over humanity, where we evolved in different places. Like people, I'm trying to think of like an example, but maybe say somebody in India, they're targeted, and their brain has different aspects to it than my brain. Like we're both smart, blah blah blah. But when the directed energy is used, or the remote neural manipulation, they're doing things with the remote neural manipulation. There's different ways that our brains have evolved where they're trying to learn about the different brains. I hope I said that right. I'm getting googly. Right now.
It's important not to dismiss the concerns about this type of delay. If one were to imagine what it's like to believe that everyone is out to get you, it's really quite frightening. And it can facilitate somebody acting in a violent manner.
It's a war, and yet it does. It does facilitate people acting violently because it's a war. You're in a war for your life, and you have people messing with you who don't even know you're being murdered. The gang stalkers, some of them might. It's very dangerous, and it needs to be stopped. But the most dangerous thing that I can think of,
they are acting in their own self-defense. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comments section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be interesting.
Pepper just farted, like right at the end of that.
Hello, this is Dr.
Stop. Okay, let's look at some of the comments, though. I was going to say, you know, what I think is the most dangerous thing is this guy. It's because he's telling a lot of the public, like, this doesn't exist, and these people are crazy, and they're a danger to themselves. We're being murdered. We're going to get not even just a double persecution. We get like the exponential persecution, you know, getting killed by people. Like our attackers, you know, if you do have hive mind team members, they're making money, their lives are good. I don't know how they sleep at night, but, you know, anyway. And then we just get persecuted exponentially. So let's look at the comment. Look at this popular comment. Elena Irion said, in Stasi Germany, before the fall of the wall of Berlin, we actually had real targeted individuals. Really? In the past, there were people who were targeted in Zersetzung? Are you kidding me? But it can't happen anymore. It happened in communist China. It happened in East Germany. It happened in, you know, it happened in just Germany before World War II, where people were killed. It's happened in so many places, right? But I can't target it in their lives. That people trying to destroy their lives, it's mental illness now. Because in society, we're all, you know, not us, not targeted individuals, not us on this channel, but most people are little powder puffs, and they don't want to have to deal with anything, you know. So it can't exist. That's keeping me safe. If I just say it doesn't exist, let the targeted individuals keep dying. I feel safe, you know. It's extremely interesting. It's so interesting. Anyone who was labeled as anti-regime was stalked and messed around with. People, let's look at some other comments. Oh, there's 123. East German. Yep, I think that certain organizations can and still do function like this, paranoid or not. Valerie Rogers says, it's the deliberate psychological attack that I find very sinister. The attacks on their careers, undermining their credibility, ruining their relationships, etc. were bad, sure, but the things that they did to actually break the person's psyche add such an evil twist to it. Sounds like what's happening in the U.S. Yes, I felt that this being stalked by a group in the news to know that this is a troubling phenomenon, not common, but still troubling. No, but see, that's the problem. Yellow Spoon says it's not common. No, it's way, way common. It's so common. What's not common, let me tell you guys what's not common, you guys in chat and everybody. What's not common is someone like me or someone like another targeted individual coming out on YouTube and saying, look, I'm being followed by people, I'm being gang stalked by people, I'm being hit by microwaves, they're messing with my... People don't do that because they know they're smart. I'm smart enough to know it, that if you come out and you say this stuff, a lot of people are going to think you're crazy, but we have to do it anyway. But that's the problem. Who this happens to, they're not going to, they're not even going to go to groups and talk about it because they feel so... This dumb one here. OMG, who has the money to spend on such things? Think of on what else that money could have been spent on. Poor people. We had thieves in our house 3 times over the past 20 years. Personal violation, I felt it was severe. Not to say fear. House money. There's like maybe 2 people at a time on the hive mind team. Maybe sometime. Maybe there's just 1 person sometimes. Training the AI to learn how my brain is thinking, like all you guys too, right? You know, so much scientific data on with this kind of brain and this kind of personality, we send this kind of signal. This is how we can really psychic drive somebody, or this area of the brain with this, you know, with his genetics, it affects this type of the vagus nerve, this part of the vagus nerve, or this part of the nervous system. The information that they're learning about and scaling up these weapon systems is so much more money. It's so much more money than what they're spending to do it to us. I think this is like the probably the #1 industry, and it's hidden. The #1 industry in the world, and it's hidden. And nobody knows about it except the people who do it. And then what level do they know, right? Because gang stalkers know nothing. They know nothing. Look at this one. Waxworth says East German Stasi targeted individuals were thought of as crazy until it was exposed. Until it was exposed, guys. Look at that. East German Stasi targeted individuals were thought of as crazy until it was exposed. The East German Stasi, Zerzetsung, that guy. So that's pretty hopeful. D. Taylor says, I'm a female electrician. I've been gang stalked more times than I can count on construction sites. Nobody is not one comment has agreed with this guy. Look, every comment, organized stalking is very real. I've been stalked for 14 years, 23 thumbs up. It's big, guys. They're stalking more people. They're targeting more people. It's actually becoming a bigger topic, and people have to talk about it. I've been targeted for 15 years. Ask this guy if he's a Freemason. He won't answer me. He is lying like most psychiatrists. But see, we're going to see, though, if before the 13th, because my psychiatrist appointment's on the 13th, and if the UN report is read before then, and I can bring it into her, I'll tell y'all how she reacts. I'm sure she'll have to say, oh, no, this probably isn't what you're going through, or something like that. That's a good. Charlie Dupre says it's hard for someone to understand something that's not happening to them. I think that's number one right there. Think about it, out of sight, out of mind, right? Like most of our torture is done to our brain and our nervous system and stuff like that. Although a lot of TIs do get burns on their skin. But like for me, it's like they're destroying my brain and my nervous system. And people just see me, they don't see it. They don't see the streams of energy going into my head. It's just like out of sight, out of mind. You know, it's not happening to me. Don't want it to be happening, so it doesn't exist. Look at all this should be very hopeful. Go to this page when you want hope. In this stupid video where he says we're delusional, and not one comment agrees with him. It is ridiculous to assume these people are delusional. Bullies work together. They always have. Their methods have developed. Go back, do some real research. That's what I would say to this Dr. Todd. There's no treatment for evil, or we would have eradicated it. There's no treatment for evil, or we would have eradicated it. I wasn't delusional when I was being gang stalked. It was my colleagues doing a very disturbing prank for months and months, and some of it was caught on CCTV, and even my boyfriend caught some of them. Yes, you wouldn't believe how low people can go. It is ridiculous. I'm even thinking of talking to professionals about experience, because it goes to show how low people can sink, and trying to scare you, which gives them a buzz. I got evidence on work, CCTV, and even my colleagues apologized years later. So definitely some targets are not delusional, but I think I had quite an unusual case. Yeah. Jezza 8787 says, this guy is a joke. Wonder how much he was going through the so-called delusions. Dude, everybody you see how many people are being targeted, guys? Ain't no way. There ain't no way that it can just be covered up for a whole lot longer. Meerkat, look, Meerkat says, if all you have is a hammer, mental health doctorate, then all your problems must be a nail. Easily explains mental health issues. Wow, great point. Thumbs up, buddy. That is very, very wise right there. Dr. Jude Grant, Dr. Grande, once you have your own gang stalking experience, you'll truly understand what kind of world we live in. Every comment. The street theater thing is really bizarre. He doesn't have one comment, not one, that says that maybe he will do another video. Maybe he will do another video. Maybe he'll actually research it. Probably not, because then he'll look like he was wrong. Okay, the sun behind the sun. You should analyze Chris Chan, an early YouTuber. Chris actually might have been targeted. You probably don't know who that is, but he he drew his own Sonic cartoon, like comics, and he was autistic, and he'd go into rages and stuff like that. And then later on, he changed from a man to a woman. And his life was really crazy. I kind of think maybe he could have been targeted. Yep. Kathy says, gang, yes, a group of people involved in organized crime, taking turns, stalking, harassing, property damages, staging accidents, getting caught on tape. Yes, it is real, very real. And the group first thing always, the victim is crazy. That is the goal of the group. Yeah, to gaslight us, to do something so freaking horrible to you, and it's like if you say anything, oh, what are you talking about? You're crazy. So then it's like, what do you do? I'm talking about gang stalking. With these microwave idiots, it's a little bit different. Because like, hey, y'all are microwaving my brain. No, we're not. The guy on my V2K would. That time I asked him how many people were sitting there, and he said he was like 65. So, Bobby Geiser, I'm a form of targeted individual. I'm a target because my family is involved in organized crime, human trafficking, and I'm one of their victims. They employ gang stalking tactics, among others, in order to intimidate me and discredit me as crazy or delusional. And I would say now, especially, I don't, with this UN thing, if they start, we need to be survivors of cyber torture. I was all about just keeping things targeted individual gang stalking, but like if the UN declares it as something, we need to kind of take that, because then people will know what we're talking about more. Alan says, this program is a nightmare for Little Religious Dallas, Oregon, near Salem, being part of a torture to death program. They are going along with it. Yeah, so many people up in Oregon. Oregon is like a capital state for targeting, and that, I mean, I think that's why we saw so many riots and burning down of cities, and like Chaz and everything in Seattle and Portland and everything like that. ATI's World said, Vulcan Wolverine, I have stalking due in V2K. Yeah, I do too. I have the whole gambit. Gang stalking, vehicular stalking, get the external hits. It seems to me, though, with mine, it's like over the years, the external hits have become a little less intense, and the remote neural manipulation has become more intense, but they still do. And the truth is, the external hits are a little bit less intense, but the remote neural manipulation, like the pain in my nervous system, is way worse. And I think that what that is because at first, probably not for everyone. So I know some people will disagree with this, but I think at first they do have a bunch of people on there, teaching the AI what to do. I would think of it this way: a team, and they're on an integrated neuroweapon system. They're going to be manually doing some things to you, especially when they first start, manipulating you and attacking you and everything like that. They may have been doing remote neural monitoring before, but then they're kind of like the dad who is holding the bike of the kid, right? They're directing the bike where to go, and then they can take their hands off at a certain point, and the AI, right, the automated system can take what they've manually put in and kind of and do things over and over. Like sometimes I'll be thinking, in a line of thought will be pushed into my head that is not manual, that the AI took my last thought and then put in some negative thing right after it, like, because mine's been going on for so long. So I have to say to target individuals who maybe in the first couple of years, things do change with this. Like it's not always going to be like so intense external physical hits and stuff like that. At least it was not for me. So maybe that's a little bit of hope for you guys, but it did take many years for some changes to happen, and it still is very painful. It's just like a lot of the like microwave to the arm or microwave, like they don't just do that all the time. They'll maybe get used to it, but I don't think so. Sometimes they'll hit me in the groin. It's just not as much. It's not as much as the beginning where it was like I could feel the heat. It's going into my head. They're hitting my groin. They're hitting multiple places, and that's kind of changed because I think I didn't make my point, did I? Because I think as they go on, they want the automated system to take over more, right? And they don't have. They're probably gonna, unless they can get the AI do the external hit feeling by remote neural manipulation and have the AI completely control that, They're going to go to more automated things like year after year. I hope I said that right. I'm getting kind of tired. TI's World said, Vulcan Wolverine, we will expose this, and I mean all of this, and we will be free. Amen. 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 Yeah, we definitely have to try. Definitely have to try and make our lives better. And this is really unprecedented. Like, this many people all over the world have not been tortured by this kind of technology ever, like ever. And you got to think, right? This isn't, because things happen in history. Like, this is a saying by George Lucas. He says, you know, history doesn't always repeat, but it rhymes, right? So let's look at this. This is a worldwide torture program. It's not necessarily exactly the same thing as something like the Holocaust, or millions of people were killed, or in Russia where people were being put in torture camps, or anything like that. But those things stopped. Those things were exposed, right? So something this big, where it's everywhere, you know, it has to be exposed. History will rhyme. Just when it does that is the big thing. You know, it's a when, not an if. New Type says, I'm here in Portland and everyone is being affected by neurotech. They just don't know it. Yeah. I just think there's a whole lot more people, like my whole family, like my dad, my mom, I think my aunt, my brother, but they're doing it to them subtly where they don't know. And there's a lot of people who are targeted, but they will never admit that this technology is affecting them. Like, they maybe older people who are just like, no, that can't exist, and they will be targeted, you know, till they die. Hopefully not. Like, hopefully they're not that old now, and then we can stop this program. They can stop being targeted even if they didn't know they were targeted. Kind of like my dad. Thank you, TI's World. Hey, Ex Machina. Creative Key says the UN is aware of the program, but now they will investigate the abuses and hear the testimonies. People will be in trouble. I agree. I agree. They got everybody's testimonies. They already knew. Niels Melzer already knew that this was happening when Magnus Olsson and Liliana talked to him, and then all those testimonies poured in, all those people's submissions poured in. So the deal is, I mean, this is the deal. If he doesn't talk about cyber torture and what people are talking about in those testimonies and the abuse by these weapons, that means that, like, he was told not to. That means that that's something that I'm really worried about, is that maybe he doesn't know a lot about this. He found out from Liliana and Magnus Olsson. He already knew it was going on or whatever, but it's like, he's like, oh man, I wish I could do something about that. But then he kind of knows what's going on. He knows how much money is in it, you know, and then he's like, I can't even talk about it. I'm worried that someone will talk to him and say, no, you cannot say anything about this, right? It's the people who say the UN's corrupt and they're not going to do it. I think this is kind of the thought that they have, is that the UN wants sustainable whatever, and they want to get people off the earth. They're in with this evil satanic stuff. And, you know, this program is definitely part of it. So the worry is that somebody comes along, some agency, maybe even a global agency, comes along to Niels Melzer and says, look, if you talk about this, you know, things are going to go bad for you, or something like that. That's my worry. Yeah, Generation says, I think the global TI communities need more rallies. There have been so many rallies. There have been some really, really good rallies. I think right now with the, you know, the pandemic, we get in trouble for going and having protests. It has to be for Black Lives Matter, to be a healthy protest riot where you don't get coronavirus. Yeah, TI's World said, Vulcan Wolverine, we need to try and get on TV to help our cause more. It's a great idea. The big thing is when this UN thing happens. If they give us the proof that we need, if he says what we need him to say, and then a lot, especially the main organizations, but even just single TIs in an area, or maybe a couple of TIs in an area, can write a press release about what he said in the UN, and maybe put in some stuff that you're going through. I would definitely submit that press release to your local news, right? I think TIs all over the world should be submitting press releases to their local news about what happens at the UN, because I don't think any kind of national news or local news is going to be like looking for this report on cyber torture. I don't think it's just not just gonna happen. We're gonna have to really push. Really, Creative Key says he received over 5,000 testimony emails. It will come out. It is time. I agree with it is time. I agree with it is time. I think we just need to say, yeah, it's going to come out. I think we need to be positive, but I really don't know what's going to happen. I have to say that. I don't know what the future will bring, but I think it's better if we say, yeah, this is going to come out. We all think positive about it. It really helps being positive about this stuff. Creative Key says the abuse of this program will shock the world. That's one thing, like, you know, I think it'll shock some people, but the world is so nuts. People are so mistreated. Like everybody's being mistreated, and like people are shot and killed in the streets, and people have become so cynical to it. I'm not totally unconvinced that you know, maybe the top of the pyramid. So all this violent stuff's gonna happen, the coronavirus, riots and everything, and there's all this violence in the world. We're gonna make everything more violent. And then at a certain time, everything will be so violent and weird everywhere that then we can tell people about this program. Then it can come out because people won't be so wowed by it. You know, they'll be like, oh man, people were being tortured. Like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. And then some people will be like, go figure. Go figure, the world's so evil, all of our countries are so evil and under control of global forces. Go figure, you know. Like every time that conspiracy theorists say something, and for years and years they're just discredited, and people are like, no, that's not true. And then it comes out that what they were saying was exactly true. They make a joke about it. They go, well, the conspiracy theorists were right. The conspiracy theorists were right. Like the conspiracy theorists a long time ago were what was that? I can't remember the World Financial Organization or something like that. They were worried that it would like be this global kind of money takeover. It actually happened, right? And I saw this guy on the news, and he was like, for all those conspiracy theorists that were saying this was like a new world order, kind of you know, messing, you know, kind of taking control of financial money globally, they were right. That's what happens every time. Every time anything comes out that was like, oh, this is conspiracy theory, blah, blah, blah. But then it comes into the mainstream and it can't be disputed. People just make a joke out of it, you know, because they can't get past it. Now, we're not going to have anybody who was like calling us mentally ill and stuff like that come out and go, I can't believe how wrong I was. I'm so sorry to you, TIs. I'll never admit it that they were wrong. Creative Key says they can't just pick and choose and torture people. We are in a time where people want freedom and peace. BLM is nothing compared to this. Yeah. Well, you got, I mean, you know, BLM, I think fighting for everybody of every color's rights is a good thing, but they're talking about this equality in society, and that you know, African Americans are mistreated and stuff like that. But then you look at what 60% of targeted individuals are women, and the women are Black women. And then you see these hurricanes and weather systems, right, that are created and directed by the abuse of electromagnetic frequency and plasma in the ionosphere. And they're wiping out all these southern states, right, where a lot of Black people are, right? A lot of Black families live in a lot of southern states. And especially if they're poor, they're going to get wiped out by those hurricanes, right? So it's this, oh, we need to, you know, everybody needs to be equal and have the same amount of rights and blah, blah, and, you know, whatever, you know, the whole BLM thing. I don't want to go into it, but then killing eugenics, a eugenics, white supremacist murder of the population. It's usually a higher percentage of Black people that are experimented on and tortured or messed up in these weather warfare things. It's completely, ugh. Yeah. Flat Earth Space Agency says the commie pushers will get all our human rights taken away even more. Dude, you know how much power DHS Fusion Center has right now? Before all the riots and everything like that, DHS Fusion Center was just murdering us, right? Just gang stalking. I mean, DHS Fusion Center, I don't know how much control of the weapons they have. I know they're involved. I think the contractors are more of the microwave murders. That's their compartment. Then DHS Fusion Center does the gang stalking, may have access to these weapons. I don't know. But anyway, DHS Fusion Center just had the power to target anybody they wanted. After these riots and stuff, DHS Fusion Center has grown into this monster. What are people talking about? Abolish the police. These little police that have no power to do anything, that just follow orders. DHS Fusion Centers are becoming monsters. It's becoming a huge monster. They're going to be able to do whatever they want. They're going to, all those people that think they're getting their freedom by burning down buildings, they're tagged. They're tagged. Their brain's going to be read. They're going to be surveilled everywhere they go. They're not earning freedom. That shows how much we can, that not we like us, but in general, how a human being can hurt themselves, or groups can hurt themselves when they don't have all the information. And this just the abuse of electromagnetic frequencies on a whole is this information that everybody needs, because the decisions that they're making in society to fight back against the system or anything like that are just going to be turned against them. Just going to be turned against, oh, you want to abolish the police? Well, okay, we'll do that. We'll do that. We're going to have all your neighbor. We're going to have every neighbor killing each other and watching each other. And we're going to have it so your DHS Fusion Center is huge. And then we can move more contractors into that area and, microwave people's brains. But get those policemen out of there. And policemen are involved in targeting and gang stalking. I know that. I know that some have weapons right higher up in the chain of law enforcement. A lot of law enforcement know about these weapons, but the beat cops are the least of anyone's concerns, and actually the beat cops are probably the wall that's kind of holding complete tyranny. It's probably keeping complete tyranny from happening to everybody. So when you get rid of the cops, you degrade the cops. Oh, all the cops are then you get some federal stuff, and then that federal, man, on the back of that you have global agendas on the back of those federal things. At TI's World said World War III is coming if we don't stop it. I think this is World War III, right? We're POWs, we're in a war. It's a different kind. I guess all those the war, how we thought of war in the past, those could get a lot worse coming up. I don't know. Things aren't happening like, bad things are happening. But I like I said on one of my last videos, and this is an insult, we need to put out the truth. And nobody knows the future, and we're just trying to put out the best information that we can. But like a lot of truthers, they're like, this is going to happen. Like, there's going to be civil war in streets, and masks are going to be forever, and there's going to be a second wave and all. And I'm seeing things play out a little bit differently. So I do think we need to be careful about, like, oh man, all the worst stuff's going to happen coming up, man. Everybody's going to be in cages and stuff like that. We need to watch how things play out. I think that people should be warning about how bad all this stuff is, because it's way worse in some places than others. But it seems to be not turning out the way that, like, when the pandemic happened, started watching YouTube and High Impact Vlogs and Richie from Boston, just a bunch of different channels. It seems to be kind of not going as bad as I thought. But I'm also not looking into it right now, so I have to add that. I haven't been staying with the truther subjects and looking up a lot of stuff on TV. I watch computing forever, but I've been trying to kind of not look at, so that could be the reason I feel better. That could be the reason I feel better, because I'm looking around me. It doesn't seem that bad in my city, and then I'm not looking at the worst incidents all over the country or all over the world. So a little disclaimer for saying, oh, it's a lot better than I thought it was. I'm just not looking at stuff right now. It's like, how did the Amish people not get CV? Well, they didn't have TVs. How did the Amish people not get sick with the virus? They didn't have any TVs there. Hey, Mo says, set up a PayPal and Cash App at Ex Machina. Do you have income coming in to find a roommate maybe on here? Yeah, finance stuff, man. We've all got to work on some kind of ideas. I'm trying to think of some things for me, because I have Social Security, and then some creative ways online that would be easy. We'd have to put in some time, but if we're stuck at home, some things that could make us money. Can't really find anything that great. Flat Earth Space Agency, they are the baby something protection squad. Yeah. So you don't, TI's World, you don't have a place to stay? TI's World said, how many targets are there in the world now? We don't know. I'd say tens of thousands are speaking out. I think that it's millions of targeted individuals, like the level that I'm being targeted or y'all are being targeted, like very intensely with all these different things, probably a couple million. And then people being targeted in some way, even if it's weak frequencies affecting their body, everyone. Everybody targeted in some way, but targeted by like this program in an intense way. Say you're looking at a couple of million, because they keep as they're not getting caught, right? They keep pulling in more and more people to get targeted. And I think the deal is I think it's going to get worse. It is getting worse. It is getting worse for TIs. Like TIs are hurting way more right now than ever before. And there's more people targeted than ever before. But if that's happening, what that's a sign of, I think from the top, is the top saying, okay, we can't do it this way anymore, because these technologies are going to be coming out in the public. More people are going to be getting, more aware about this, more, so many intelligent people talking about being targeted. We're not going to be able to do this forever. So let's do it as hardcore as possible now. Try and kill off some of the ones that would maybe speak out about it, and do it to as many people, because we're going to have to stop soon. It's going to have to change. I don't think this technology is going away. I think that everybody in the world will have something like nano, well, they probably already do, but will be like, they will be able to be targeted on like an Internet of Things, because they'll all be hooked up, very, very soon, like in 10 years. Like in 10 years, everybody in the world will be hooked up to the Internet of Things, maybe a device in the ear or something to connect to the Internet of Things, maybe nothing, like us, right? Because we don't, like, I don't know if I have an implant in me. I think I do right here. And we have magnetite in our brain that's just natural. You're born with magnetite in your brain, or it develops at some point in your life. But it's like I forgot my point of that. My attacker's like white meat. Generation said, God bless you, Kyle. Got to go. Been awake all night. Got to sleep and wake up for work on things. God bless you and stay strong. TIs, God knows we are right. Thank you for coming, generation, and amen. God knows what we've been through, and God can give us strength to get through things that aren't ending like we want it to. We ask God for the miracle in this program, in our pain, but whatever your will, give us strength to get through this. Give us strength to find things. There's so many technologies that interfere with this, and if we learn more about it, that's why I always try and get kind of detailed, and maybe I say some stuff wrong, but we got to start looking at the vestibular system, things to cover the head, because you got these your cranial nerves that they're stimulating, and that's affecting the brain, and then straight to the brain. So the more we can learn, there's stuff that really, really defends this. It takes a while sometimes. And for some people, what I'm really hoping for, because like the noise canceling hearing aids really work with the remote neural manipulation. Dave Case, the CD, does too. I'm gonna listen to that interview with Dave and Ramola and see what he says. But I was hoping weren't you guys, I don't know if he can do this. I was talking to somebody else and they said he probably can't do this because the noise, he has to make those noises to make the frequency, that he could make something like soothing in music, you know, with the same effect, with the same like frequencies, not subliminal words or anything, but the frequencies embedded in the thing that sounds better, so that more people could listen to it and it could help them. But he's already done so much. I'm not like, oh, Dave, you gotta do more, Dave. He really did save my life. Jerusha McBear says, Kyle, do you have a PO? I have a PayPal. I'll put it in there. It's paypal.me/Vulcan Wolverine. Right there. Yeah, if you guys want to donate to the channel, because this would be a donate for the channel. I have paid my internet with it before, but I usually do stuff like it buys me time. It actually helps me with my mom a lot. When y'all donate on my PayPal, and you know, I've gotten some donations. And I'm not like rolling in donation dough or anything like that, but I really appreciate the people who have donated. And like I tell my mom that, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting some donations, so it's like, and they're helping me to build the channel and everything. And I want the sound to be better. The sound sucks. I need something to play music. I need a microphone. I need a new camera. And then I'm editing right now. Like I'm not lying to you guys about editing. It's just like I got my stuff together and I got all the video stuff that I wanted in sections, right? And I'm editing, but I'm gonna try and put some other stuff in. And then I got really unmotivated, and I was like, I'm just gonna kind of wait a little while. I'm gonna wait because I don't until the UN thing comes out, and then I can, you know, have the stuff that I'm working on to put out. You know, shelters in Canada. Thank you, Alan. I've got to call her soon. Alan said, Kyle, I enjoyed your Ella-free testimony. Very helpful. I got to say something about that, guys. That was like, I just woke up like an hour before that interview. Just woke up. I was in so much pain, like way worse than I am right now. The mind stuff wasn't as bad, but like my body was just chewed up and stuff like that. And she was like, hey, you want to come on and do an interview? And I was like, oh my God, I feel so horrible. Yeah, it's not gonna like be the only thing people watch, right? If I would have known that's where I would have been like, no, let's wait. Let's do it like a couple of days from now when I'm feeling better. Creative Keys. I like you, Creative Keys. It's the right way to be, Creative Keys. Be positive like that. I like you, man. We got it. Look, everybody, look, I don't want to call anybody out, but I'm calling somebody out for a good thing. Being positive is going to get you places, no matter what happens with the targeting. And I know that we can't always be natural. Let me read the comment before. Creative Key says, I think we will be recognized, acknowledged, and compensated by our governments with support soon. I do too. I don't know. I can't say exactly what's going to happen. I can't say like, okay, the UN is going to announce it, and then the programs will be shut down because the contractors are like, oh, the UN declared that, you know, this cyber torture, artificial intelligence, neurotechnology used like this is a you know, world crime, and it may somehow catch their own self laws, right? And they say, well, actually, we're going to have to stop now because the UN like declared this, or like, or the governments will acknowledge it. I don't know how things are going to turn out, but I think it's going to be a bunch of things coming together, and it's going to be changing things gradually. It's going to be changing things gradually. But I think even when you have that gradual change and you have all this awareness out in society, changes these people. Like the automated systems, they won't stop, right? Automated systems won't stop, but the hive mind team members see that the UN declares it a crime against humanity. They've been told by their managers, look, we just got to do this. We've got to sacrifice these people for the good of other Americans. Things start getting a little bit friction, right? Gang stalkers, right? Think about gang stalkers doing this. The UN says people are being gang stalked and hit with microwave weapons and torture. Some of those gang stalkers see that there was microwave torture involved, you know, to the person that they were stalked, you know, many in like millions of different ways that this could help us, that I'm not saying right now. So we've got to remain strong. You got to go to a shelter, man. It's bad to be like stuck outside Target. I had when my house burned down, I had to stay in my car a little while, but at least I had my car. Tanya says, look up Corey targeted individual and you will find him. Is that Corey? Is that the Corey that I know, or is that a different one? Jerusha says, like the Bible says, they will hang from their own gallows. Yeah. I just see it as this. I've been targeted for so long, guys. These people doing this, if like I'm talking about the microwave murderers, they've lost. Like the way they are, they've lost. Like they can't have happy lives. Like we can have happy lives. Like if you're just however you're made, if you do good and you affirm life and stuff like that, and you really praise God and you really believe in Jesus Christ, you go along the path of light, not Illuminati light, but the good, right? You win no matter what happens to you. And I know it's hell going through this pain, but there's a victory in that. And these people, these evil people doing this, they're empty. They're soulless. They can't feel happiness. Gives them happiness. These guys on my, and maybe a lot more AI now. I don't know for sure, but I do think there's like a man and a woman team there. They switch them out. They have 3 shifts. But the guys on there, it's like that's the only thing that gives them joy, is like hurting me. If I'm and this is the most pain you will ever inflict on your attackers. Listen closely. To have victory, to have hope, to have happiness in your life, to actually defeat the things that they wanted you to fail from. You defeat those things. Keep going. You may, we'll have losses, things they get us with, things they trick us with, when they hurt us. It almost feels like, when they almost kill us and stuff like that. The thing that will chap their hide the best way to hurt them is you having victory in your life. Spiritual victory, financial victory, having a friend and not, letting go of bitterness. And then easier said than done, bitterness, right? In this, when something this bad has been done to you, but it's possible. It takes a lot of really, and I'm not saying I'm perfect. I still have bitterness sometimes, but I'm saying it's possible to move in that right direction, get rid of those negative things, so these MFers don't have fuel for the fire. If you're angry, you're yelling at them, you're just like, yes, I gotta get this fixed and stuff like this, and it's not you pulling up your bootstraps and taking the bull by the horn and finding your victories and finding your happiness, man. They'll love that. They'll love you just sticking there. And it's, I many years and just like having to do it, I've done a little bit, right? At the beginning, I was just yelling at them all the time. They loved it. I didn't care. Still wanted to yell at them. But at a certain point, it's like, how much of my life have I wasted on these people? I have to be honest, I don't even really want to kill them. I don't care about them. I want them out of my life as much as possible, and they're not worth me like killing them, because then I'm a good person. I would feel bad about that, even if I'm killing an evil person, because it's just the way I'm built. So I'm like, I don't even want revenge. I hope we get revenge, and I hope we get justice. I want justice. These people should see justice. But at this point, I'm not even like, man, if they were in front of me, I would strangle them or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Because you know what? That would probably, the guys on my microwave, if I saw them and I started strangling, they would be so, I changed you. Used to be such a nice guy. Now you're so bloodthirsty, blah, blah, blah. If I just said, hey, man, if I saw one of these guys who'd been like, you're the most evil sack of crap I've ever met, and I can't believe you did that, and I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry that you couldn't find something better to do with your life that actually meant something. That actually, probably not walk off. If they were free, I would like tell somebody so we could arrest them and stuff like that, but I don't think I would attack them. I think that's a very different feeling than most TIs feel and even me 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I'm not sure. Yeah, Karen says creative keys, all governments are taken over and run by the evil, unfortunately. Yep. It's a pyramid. There's global entities at the top, you know, like the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, blah, blah, all the wealthy families, CFO, global organizations, the Federal Reserve, and then under you've got all the country's separate leaders and military industrial complexes and stuff. And the evil, the servant starts to look like the master. If it didn't before, right? So these people in government and everything, they start to operate how their global masters operate. And so think about that. So we got a pyramid where the masters want their servants to start kind of doing things like being cynical, evil, not believing in God, blah, blah, blah. And think about us where it's like, no, we believe in good and we believe in God and we want to affirm life and protect people. So, you know, they got to do away with us, right? We're not useful to a system where the top of the pyramid, the masters want people to kind of follow in their footsteps, go against God, go against each other. You know, it's a lot more complicated than that. I do think there's something that we don't know that's above us on the food chain, and conventional, whatever, demons, Satan. You know, I don't know the exact scientific thing, but I think that's involved, and I think there's mix too of some of the politicians to where they're cold-blooded, but it's how they've been genetically modified with the genetics of that thing on higher up in the food level to make them more like their masters, right? That gets crazy though, because I don't have any proof of that and stuff like that, and that's just kind of me thinking. Karen Rose says, who do you sue? The government? I would say, you know, because Richard King sued the hospital that implanted him, the DOD. He sued the president, which I don't know what that would do, but I would say this: if you're in America, now take this and put this where your country is. The Pentagon is at the head of this. The Pentagon knows everything about, you know, agencies like the NSA or Air Force and everything like that, and they know about all these contracts. The Pentagon knows everything about this. I would say we sue the Pentagon if you're in America. Sue the DOD, or, you know, because I'm not sure, because I think the NSA has contracted out to do this to me. Somebody else at maybe Air Force has contracted out to do it to them. Another person, it could be DIA that contracted out to do it to them. Somebody else could be CIA that contracted out to do it to them. That all these agencies are you know, doing this experimentation for their agency, right? But above it all is the Pentagon that knows this is happening. Above that is global organizations, right? Now take that in your country and think about that. So I'd say if you're going to sue somebody, you sue the Pentagon, you sue whatever agency. We got to find out what agency has contracted out to do this. You sue the agency that's above the contractor. You sue the contractor. If you have any implants at a hospital that you went to, you sue that hospital. You know, but the problem with just suing the agency, like if I want to sue the NSA, right? But I'm not 100%. I'm pretty sure it's like a contractor on the NSA, but I don't know. So if I sue them, it's like, where's my proof? So that's where we hit it. We hit it with, like, in courts forever have needed physical proof. And that's why shooting somebody with directed energy weapons remotely and stuff like that, they get away with it. Because where's your proof? Where's your proof? They've screwed at every angle. Like, you're mentally ill because that doesn't exist. Where's your physical proof? They put everything on us after we're being murdered, and we didn't even ask to be born. We didn't do anything wrong or bad. Put it all on us, murdering us, isolating us, breaking us apart from our family. Then where's your proof? And also, oh, you're mentally ill too, and stuff like that. Just exponential persecution on top of persecution. Yeah. But I would say, like, we need to get the evidence. This is the way that I was thinking of getting evidence, but I'm not sure, right? Not sure. But if I can get to somebody who maybe could get the implant out, then I could find out who owns that implant or who owns the, like, like Melinda Kidder and the other doctor, Dr. Staniger. They'd find out where the frequencies are coming from, who they belong to, and write a report on it. Then you'd have that report that says these frequencies belong to this agency. So it must, that would be a little bit of proof, right, that's doing it to us, right? Oh, I'm sorry, Karen. Karen says, I'm getting lasered and alcohol burns the raw area. I'm trying to think of something that you could do. You know what I think would feel really good? If you have the tea tree oil soap or the tea tree oil, just the oil, do a bath with it, get out of the bath, and you feel so cool. It cools your skin down. Like, I took a tea tree oil bath and I got out of the bathtub and I was like, it was like icy cold because the tea tree oil was so refreshing to my skin. That might help a little bit. Yeah, TI's World said Vulcan Wolverine, and they will be the ones in a mental institution. Yeah. Okay, guys, it's 3.5 hours. I was supposed to end this at 2 hours. Time got away from me, man. Okay, guys. Yeah, so I'm going to have to end this live stream. But if my power doesn't go out, you'll see. Okay, that Corey, tell him I love Corey. He's a boy. I got to call him. I think he's he's targeted really bad. He's got kind of the same kind of targeting I have. We haven't talked in a while, but I hope he's doing good. Creative Key says, Vulcan Wolverine, when MK Ultra hit the mainstream and came out about the abuses, the governments immediately compensated victims who were ignored. This is no different. Yeah, it's way bigger too. And, I guarantee you it's going to happen with this, right? It's just going to turn into something else. Like, they'll end these programs with these kind of weapons and, neuro weapons, directed energy weapons, but then they're going to maybe move to quantum or something that people will call somebody mentally ill. Like, within like, when everybody's brains are like hooked into the Internet of Things, there will be something past what people understand that they will take people out with, like quantum energy or something like that. Even when people understand frequency and energy, and that can read and write to the brain, there will be something else that can be done. Right? But we want this program to end for now, so we can kind of end our torture, right? Jerusha, I always just wake up and then here y'all are. Drew says, Kyle, do you always stream at the same time or which days? Jerusha, it's a crapshoot with me. I'm definitely not going to be on every day. And it's usually late at night. Maybe I'll start giving a few hours, maybe. Yeah, Flat Earth Space Agency says, thanks, Kyle. Way to put the foot up Satan's rear end. Put my foot up Satan's rear end with all my grounding on. Ground that MF. Tanya says, he does different days and times. Hit the like and just hit the like and whatever one on the bell is like that. You're notified every time I do a live stream, because I'm pretty sick. Like, I have to kind of turn myself on to do a live stream now. Like, this isn't how I am like all the time. I'm not very talkative all the time. I turn myself on. Feel good today. Does that make sense? That makes sense to you guys, right? I feel a little bit better. Today I woke up and I said, I feel like I can do a live stream today. But then there's probably more days now. There used to be more days where I wake up and say, I feel like I can make a video today, get some information out there. And now more days where I'm like waking up and saying, nope, I can't. I just can't organize my thoughts well enough even to just do what I do, Karen says, yeah. Karen says, it's lonely, but no, hopefully God is always with you. Yeah. And we're all going through the same thing. Millions of people. There's millions of people being targeted And like everybody's lives are so bizarre and evil and tyrannical now because of what's happening in our world. So we're not alone, you know. And I feel like as it just a little bit more time goes by, people will have bizarre lives, and we're not going to look that bizarre to anybody, you know. Creative Key says, so Kyle, keep thinking compensation, recognition, change, and peace coming. Good night, brother. Good night, Creative Keys. Thanks for coming. Gotta have those positive thoughts. This can happen. This can happen. Maybe something else a little bit different happens, but the positive thoughts, you're headed that way, right? God, if we could get compensation for what we've gone through, the problem is that all of us are owed like millions of dollars, you know, for pain and suffering, damage to our brain and body, time lost on a job that we could have had. We're owed so much money. Like if they admitted to what they actually did to us, millions and millions of dollars. How many? I mean, could they compensate every TI? Yeah, we're gonna try. We're gonna try. It's gonna happen. There are gonna be lots of class. There's one guy. Maybe we'll do a live stream about him. He, put some stuff in Supreme Court. So there's people working on it. There's stuff happening. It's just this news isn't being brought. We don't have a TI channel where every important thing is put up there. So it's altered. But there's these real breakthroughs and good things happening. If we saw everything that every TI organization, TI was doing, if you gathered it all up and saw what everybody's working on, you'd be like, oh man, we got this. You know, and that's my problem. Like I don't keep up with the stuff good enough, and so I'm like, man, we're not getting there. We're not getting there. But I think if we saw everything that everybody's doing, we're like, oh, just a matter of time before this exponentially builds up, and then we're there. We're there where it's like, even if the program doesn't stop, every human being knows that it's happening to us, and we don't get treated like we're crazy. We can at least get medical help and stuff like that. 10 billion. Creative Key says 10 billion will cover it all. Yeah, just give me 20 billion. Give me $20 billion. Well, I mean, they're thinking about giving reparations to African Americans, so it's a possibility. You know, it's a possibility that we could maybe. I mean, I'm sure they would give us something like $100,000 or $60,000 or something. It'd be, the offer would be so crappy. Rose says they don't like people who question them. They just want you to go along with your slavery. Yeah, fight it. Fight this in the right ways. You know, we fight this in the right ways. Some counterintuitive ways. Some counterintuitive ways to fighting a war, but we keep fighting. All right, guys, I love y'all. Yeah, it's been like 3.5 hours. I meant to just make this a 2-hour one. I love y'all. Wait. Let me show something real quick. But my power may go out this weekend. It's like 3. It's 3. It's almost 4 where I am. Let me show you guys this. So this is what I got. That means like early Saturday morning, probably. I'm gonna have like the eye of the storm on top of my head. Like I'm gonna just fly through this roof. This out, guys. Maybe if I have power tomorrow.
We watched Hurricane Delta strengthen on Thursday, but it's expected to do some weakening as it approaches the northern Gulf Coast on Friday. We want to show you the latest watches and warnings that you can see.
Look at this.
And
okay,
in the purple, that's where.
So I'm right here. This is the predicted worst part of it right here. But what if it shifts a little bit? So we're going to get so much rain. So that's probably where the eye right there. Maybe here.
Hurricane warnings are, but even if you're in the tropical storm warning areas, you need to take this seriously. It should make landfall in the U.S. sometime later in the day Friday. And I'll say at this point, we're still less concerned with what the intensity is at landfall versus where that track goes, because despite changes to the category, the impacts are pretty much going to be the.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the eye is just like, I can't, I know y'all can't see my fat finger But like if Louisiana was a shoe, it's like right on top of the foot, kind of. Wow.
Same. Those hurricane force winds now expand out further from the center than they did earlier, but it's the tropical storm force winds that now extend outward more than 160 miles from the center. Those
We're
are
getting
very
so
far
much
reaching.
rain.
The tornado threat will continue throughout the day on Friday, especially.
Okay. Oh, and I just want to mention this before I go. I need to make probably another video about this, maybe just a short one. But just before I go, I thought it was interesting how Hurricane Laura, it came through and like the edge of it was near me, right? And it hurt Texas more, hurt Texas in West Louisiana more. And then it's like this hurricane is coming straight in line where the left edge of this hurricane is like in the place where the right edge of the other hurricane is. So it's like boom, hurricane here, hurricane here. Are we gonna see the next hurricane kind of pull over to the right and kind of go in line? Are they just destroying their or in a steady, organized fashion, manipulating this weather, creating this weather to destroy the entire coast in a summer? Well, not the summer now. It's past summer. Alan says, "Yep. Whenever Louisiana in the news, I think, Kyle, yeah, man, boudin balls, Cajun man, Cajun man, Cajun man. Constipation, something nation. Look up Cajun man, y'all." Yeah, Jerusha says, yeah, if anyone deserves reparations, it's the Native Americans. Yeah, Native Americans, wow, they were so screwed over. See, this stuff has been happening all throughout humanity. We shouldn't be like, I don't know how we're surprised. I was surprised. How can something this evil happen? But evil to humans has been going on since humans, since the dawn of man. Mo says, before anyone is taken care of first on reparations, Native American reparations for their land genocide, land that had income from natural resources, example, oil. Yeah, it's manifest destiny. It's Christopher Columbus and the people who were in America. Hey, that's our land. It's been given to us by God, right? But now it's a little bit different. The top of the pyramid and the people doing this, they're like, we have a claim on those people. They're useless eaters. And it's not so much land, it's that there is no God. This is what they say. They say there is no God, and they're useless. We're above human. We're evolving and stuff like that. And they're just animals, and it's okay. We can just use their bodies and their brain. That manifest destiny has changed from God has given us this land. God has allowed us to kill those people to there is no God. And those people are like useless eaters. Dark. Yeah, I used to live in Texas too, Jerusha. I went to college in Texas. Yeah, Karen Rose said, God doesn't make junk, Kyle. These predators are of Satan. I agree. I just think God made everything, even Satan. It all falls under his umbrella, and they can have this illusion like they have power over something, or God can like let it have power. But it's like he really created everything, and if we're in that mind, it's like evil stuff has no power. Except evil stuff like bullets and microwaves and things like that. Spiritual evil stuff, you can, easily just get the power from God, and that spiritual stuff can't hurt you. All right, Kriya, I'm trusting you. You said October 22nd. Change is coming. October 22nd, he speaks. Even after that updates and results. I agree, Kriya. Thank you for coming. All right, guys, I'm gonna shut this live stream down. October 22nd is what I'm hearing. But let's, everybody keep an eye on the web TV, right, and the YouTube page, just in case. All right. Jerusha said, Kyle, do you ever think that you feel better at night because more people are silent and less energy going through the air? I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense. I feel better about the gang stalking. I feel safer, like there aren't as many people that are gang stalking me. But when I try and sleep, my attackers do a lot more dangerous stuff. Like if I'm sleeping at night, it's better. No, at night it's worse. At night it's just worse. But the gang stalking, feeling uncomfortable from the gang stalking, that's way better late at night. I can bring Pepper out, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I don't have to deal with gang stalkers because they're probably not going to come out. Sometimes they do come out at like 3 in the morning, but sometimes they don't come out so late, you know. But it's bad at night, especially when I'm asleep because my brain is not like I'm not up. My brain's not guarded. I'm not like, ooh, I'm up and I can defend my brain because I'm awake. My brain's asleep and very, very undefended. Mo says, no, Wolverine, stay till the power kicks you out. That's probably going to be tomorrow night. No, guys, I gotta go. I love y'all, man. I'll be on here. If my power doesn't go out, I'll come back on this weekend, and we'll go through some information. I'll get something organized. Maybe we'll go through that other guy who's saying that you know, targeting isn't happening, and on his too. And I'll show. I guess I just need to show you guys this. But the other guy also, when he was saying that targeting didn't exist, the whole filled up in his comments were people disagreeing with him and experiencing it. So what does that therapist do, Dr. Todd, when he looks at that video and he looks at all those comments? Does he, in his head, does he say everybody's mentally ill? Or does he say, maybe I need to look into this more? You see? Friction from the normal things where people are just like, yeah, that's just delusional, blah, blah, and nobody really knows about it. But now so many people are targeted, so many people know about it, that anybody denies it, and you got everybody saying no. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. All right, hugs, you guys. Hugs all. Jerusha says, haha, hugs all. You guys stay safe. Stay as safe as possible. Stay as strong as possible. Let's just get through this. You know, everybody, every TI that can, you know, keep the YouTube, the web TV thing, and keep your eye on it. And I'll put everything in the description. I need to go back to my last video and put some of those things in the description too. All right, guys, I love y'all. God bless you. God bless your families. In the name of Jesus Christ. God, put the blood of, just may the blood of Jesus Christ be on your life and through this. All right, we're going to get somewhere. We're getting somewhere. We're getting places. All right, guys, I love you all. I'll see you all in the next one.